Now it's time for me to turn around. Thought you knew what this was. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have felt for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back the one heart. Call it a savage love, just till I had enough of us. I'm good, babe. I'm on my own. This ain't a phase. Just let me go. Told you that I'm not that type. Don't bother wasting breath. Begging for one more chance. Yeah, know you got carried away. Ooh, you made me to say it. Even this one greatness, faces, stay in your place. I was looking to play, then you got in the way. All the love we made got me stuck in your brain. Got no time to stay here and say goodbye. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have felt for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back the one heart. Call it a savage love, just till I had enough of us.
it's all good. And it's all good. Feel like I'm the big dog, been killing it since tip off. Come with it or stay home, the people gon' feel ripped off. It's only major leaguers in the office. If you giving half of an effort around the rest of us, you'll make it awkward. I'm about that action, not the one you talk with. You better hope I'm not the one your coach gon' have you out here really guarding. It took a lot for me to get here, but I have arrived. I really made it and the haters be looking surprised. Been down before, but now I'm better than I've ever been. Through all adversity, I saw them right now at the whatever the problem, we'll solve them. Make it through together, it'll be all love, and it's all good. Yeah. Okay. They say pressure makes diamonds. That's what I align with, cause the journey I've been climbing is riddled with perfect timing. I'm in a different mode when I be trying to get it. To even get a chance to compete is a form of winning. I mean, what's the point of playing if we ain't striving for greatness? I feel a sense of pride with every play that I'm making. To the top of the world when I came for the basement. Boy, I'm the one and not the two, so don't get it mistaken.
You waited all night for me to come back. Why'd you think that it's not alright? Told you that I'm not that type. Didn't mean to get you so excited. Tried to tell you not to fall in love. Why you always hit me uninvited? Was hoping you would get the picture. I've had enough. Now it's time for me to turn around. Thought you knew what this was. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have fell for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back your heart. Call it a savage love, just till I had enough of us. I'm good, babe. I'm on my own. This ain't a phase. Just let me go. Told you that I'm not that type. Double the waist and ride. Beg you for one more chance. Yeah, know you got carried away. Ooh, you made me to say. You've been messing with greatness, space, and stay in your place. I was looking to play, then you got in the way. All the love that we made got me stuck in your brain. Got no time to stay here and say goodbye. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have fell for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back the one heart. Call it a savage love, just till I had enough of us. Yeah.
big dog, been killing it since tip-off. Come with it or stay home, the people gon' feel ripped off. It's only major leaguers in the office. If you giving half of an effort around the rest of us, you'll make it awkward. I'm about that action, not the one you talk with. You better hope I'm not the one your coach gon' have you out here really guarded. It took a lot for me to get here, but I have arrived. I really made it, and the haters be looking surprised. Been down before, but now I'm better than I've ever been. Through all adversity, I saw them right down at the whatever the problem, we'll solve them. Make it through together, it'll be all love, and it's all good. Yeah. Okay. They say pressure makes diamonds. That's what I align with, cause the journey I've been climbing is riddled with perfect timing. I'm in a different mode when I be trying to get it. To even get a chance to compete is a form of winning. I mean, what's the point of playing if we ain't striving for greatness? I feel a sense of pride with every play that I'm making. To the top of the world when I came from the basement. Boy, I'm the one and not the two, so don't get it mistaken.
You waited all night for me to come back. Why'd you think that it's not alright? Told you that I'm not that type. Didn't mean to get you so excited. Tried to tell you not to fall in love. Why you always hit me uninvited? Was hoping you would get the picture. I've had enough. Now it's time for me to turn around. Thought you knew what this was. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have fell for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back your heart. Savage love, just when I had enough.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Looks like the players are ready. Here we go!
After going through the day of astonishments, now it's time to witness the day of upsets. Welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where I'm going to be your host, Caster Necro. John alongside with me on the panel, it's going to be I Super Johnny. And today is the day 2 of the Open Finals. Johnny, we're finally inside the lower brackets. That means today we're going to see a lot of those kicks.
Exactly. A lot of heartbreaks are going to happen because unlike yesterday, today is when the teams will actually be eliminated if they lose their series. So that is what adds the extra bit of pressure upon these teams. But with that pressure, I think we can expect the gameplay to be a little bit more refined. Everyone is going to be trying their hardest to not get eliminated in day number 2 itself.
Hands down. By what I meant by kicks is that, of course, a lot of these teams would want to kick their competition out. Yesterday, we saw a lot of those upsets too, man, especially Time to Pound. Losing their matchup, it's something that we never saw coming.
Exactly. I mean, that loss was unexpected, but at least they are still in this tournament, right? They're in the second half of this lower brackets. Whoever ends up winning today, they're going to move forward, and then they're going to be facing off against teams like NVT waiting for them. Time to Pound is going to be there waiting for them as well. 5 a.m. as well on the other side, waiting for the teams, waiting for the competition to see who they are going to face up against. But before that, I think it's time we have a look at the format once again, because our journey, it's not going to be a very long one. We started off the open finals. We have the top 16 teams right now competing for survival, and the top 8 teams from here will get to move forward to the challenge season, which is going to be the next stage in this tournament.
And those top 8 teams will be joined alongside with 2 invited teams in the challenge season itself. And then from the challenge season, only the top 6 teams have a chance to move on towards the challenge finals, which will happen inside of DreamHack, which will be within the upcoming month. But yeah, let's move on the conversation towards today's matches itself, right? Of course, we know we're going to kick things off with NS Esports versus Karizzma.
Yeah.
And speaking of NS, now it's quite an old banner, but the players inside of this entire banner, they're quite the new bunch.
Exactly. I mean, it's a new lineup playing under an old banner. But again, even if you talk about the previous lineup from the side of NS, I mean, the performance we saw weren't that great, to be honest. I mean, I understand Godlike and Vitality, those two teams are built different. But NS, again, it's a story similar to what it was like for Anthem the last season, wherein you could see the potential, but they weren't really able to bring it on board.
I mean, look at the day one bracket itself, right? Anthem, they faced off against NVT. NVT was kicked all the way down in the lower brackets, and Anthem, they moved on forward, as now they're going to be facing off against their foes. But today, we're going to be witnessing the double elimination bracket, which is going to be the lower bracket itself. NS versus KZM, which is going to be Karizzma. It will be super intense matchup. NS, it's quite the OG banner, but still the playing players in this banner, they're quite the newer bunch. And you can say the same thing for Karizzma as well.
Exactly, but I think after that last game yesterday, the last series where we got to see 5am going up against Panda Express, I think I'm very excited to watch what the new teams are going to be up to. That match was very intense. I definitely enjoyed the action and the standout between the two teams, and I think it might have inspired these teams as well to come up with a lot more tacticality inside of the game, because yesterday that is what happened. The first game, Hardpoint, I think 5am were able to take it just because of their raw firepower. But then when it came time to step into the modes that require a little bit more tactics and a little bit more refinement in terms of those strategies, it was Panda Express who ended up walking away with the win. But here's the schedule for the day, and of course the match that you want to see, Necro, I feel like, NonStop going up against Karizzma. That's going to be game 1.
It will be quite an intense matchup. At least that's what we expect. A close one. But yeah, going back towards that 5am and Panda Express storyline, right? 5am started things off on such a dominating note towards the hard point. But then later on in that hard point itself, Panda Express, they started to catch the pace once again. So that's when 5am started to struggle a little bit. Then you move on towards Strain, and that's where the struggles were really there for 5am. They were not able to get anything done. And you move on towards Control. That was the first Control that the teams were actually focusing on objective.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, we just talked about the first matchup and how it can correlate to something that happened yesterday. But moving forward, I mean, a lot of interesting teams as well. Team Vengeance versus SLN. That is going to be an exciting match to witness. Team Strike versus Fate. Last match of the day, Team Dope versus MonarchX Esports. Now, again, new teams, new faces. It's going to be interesting to see what are going to be the, not just the strategies, but how do the players individually synergize with each other as well. Because we talk about that 5am Panda Express match, which came down to tactics and strategies. But then there was that game earlier on where we saw Time to Pound getting beaten by EXO, and it was just the synergy between the players of EXO that helped them secure that win. But let's start talking about game 1. We have Cosmos, we have Triptychs, we have Siemens, Karmas, and Limons in the side of NonStop. NS again, I mean, a lot of expectations this time from NS.
Yeah, pretty much, man. For NS, it's quite the OG banner, so automatically the expectations as well, they are quite amped up. And once again, moving back the conversation towards the entire lower brackets, the lower brackets are all about the underdogs. Now, all these teams, they need to be the Bright Diamonds in order to once again bring themselves back in the race and be there in the upcoming Challenge Series, because in the Challenge Series, keep this thing in mind, we've got those 2 invited teams, and we pretty much have an idea which those 2 invited teams are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a slight idea for what those names are. I think people are just waiting for how their journey in another tournament that's happening right now, the World Championship, is going to be like. I mean, yesterday was a little bit of a heartbreak for a lot of people, but a lot of happiness as well, as Godlike has been doing quite well for themselves in the World Championship this time. But let's see where the journey takes them. But talking about the tournament we are in right now, Karizzma, the roster on our screens, we have 60 FPS Bot, Bond, Sinister, No Skill, and Drago in Karizzma. And it's going to be exciting to see how this matchup also turns out for the side of Karizzma. I mean, I feel there's a lot of support for this team as well, not just NS.
Yeah. I mean, hands down, right? Once again, you talk about the mental aspect as well inside of the game, and both these teams are quite the newer bunch, right? So both of them are pretty much going to be feeling the same level of intensity. And yesterday, you can't say it was more sort of like the happy ending. You knew that you're not going to be kicked outside of the tournament anyway, so it's completely fine. You can go for that risk-taking factor. But today, it's all about that comfort zone, man. You leave that comfort zone even once, and you're instantly done for. You will be kicked outside of the tournament. But sometimes leaving the comfort zone as well can mean a good thing, so I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, leave the comfort zone, don't leave the hard point. I think that should be the rule right now, so at least for the first mode itself. And of course, so once we move on to control, it is going to be about those control points. But again, I think one of the big things that happened yesterday was the map veto. First, in the first few series, we saw Summit getting picked a lot, and then we moved on to Hacienda, which I actually have started to like Hacienda with how it was played out in that series, where we saw the side of Time to Pound going up against their opponents, and it was an exciting series after all. So it's going to be interesting to see what maps are going to be picked as well. Konohara District, I think that is going to be an interesting pick to see if S&D is going to be played out on that as well. And of course, Control, I think I'm expecting a lot of Raid today, to be honest.
I mean, that is pretty much going to be like the classic Control map, right? Raid's, of course, going to be there. But Hacienda is my personal favorite on Hardpoint. I don't know about you, Johnny. Why are you saying that you're starting to like that map? You should have been in love with that map.
No, man, too complicated. Too many switch-ups in Hacienda. Feels like, I mean, again, that first control point, first hard point that you have close to the fountain. After that, I mean, first of all, that's a big struggle. You have to line up a lot of kills to gain any control of that map, and even then it gets traded out very easily. And then rotating around the map becomes a big challenge, a lot of off angles for the opposing players to take, a lot of crossfire setup opportunities. At this level, it becomes very tricky to try and challenge any of these teams. But we do have the map veto in front of us. Hardpoint on Summit. As expected, we have Express for Search and Destroy and Raid for Control.
Exactly. I mean, Express is also there on the board in Search and Destroy. And yesterday, we were seeing Express and Kurohana play a lot of those entire Search and Destroy map, right? Kurohana Metropolis as well is one of those maps that the teams are now sort of loving to play. And speaking of that map in general, right? That map is such a boxy map. There's so many lanes that you need to go through. There's so many angles that you need to clear. So me personally, I'm not really a big fan of Kurohana, but I do understand it is quite a competitive map.
Yeah, it's a very competitive map. I think with how the layout is, it feels like the most default tactical shooter map you could ask for inside of Call of Duty. And because of that, a lot of strategies were formulated yesterday as well. But I think majority of the teams did pick that map, that did end up playing Search and Destroy on that particular map, just stuck to playing it like it was a ranked game where all of them would just push together, where the utility is being poured in to flush out the defenders and then trying to take early control of the site. And from the defensive side, it was just be the simple strategy of fall back, let the attackers take the site and then just go for a retake. So nothing complicated witnessed yesterday. And I think one reason, because new introductions, everyone's facing against each other for the first time as well. So even the teams are trying to figure each other out. But today, considering it is Express, we got to witness extremely exciting matches on Express yesterday, and especially on Search and Destroy. I mean, Panda Express was quite impressive, so I would love to see how this one turns out. But before that, Summit. Yeah.
Summit, once again, the classic start. It's something that's going to be there towards the hard point. And I generally think so. It is going to be a super close one. We might just have 1 or 2 points separating the victor. But in general, NS, it's quite the OG banner. They still have a lot to live up to. You speak about the legacy of NS, and you know in 2023 DreamHack, this was one of those teams that was doing pretty good. But yes, the IGL as well for the team used to be Prevail back in the day. But now, considering it's a complete changed lineup, NS, there might be a few struggles, but I would still want them to be on top, considering it is the OG organization. But nothing taken away from Karizzma. I'm always open for surprises.
Well, they're going to be happy to the win, but here we kick things off. And what a mowdown comes from Crip. He takes down 2, helps his team secure the control of the first hard point. And NS, look at this, Necro, they're off to the races. Here comes the backstab. 60 FPS bot needs to be careful. And the slide in his face, and he goes down. NS, it seems like at the start of the game itself, Necro, they're going to run away with this match.
I mean, Cosmo is popping off, man. NS is indeed just dominating through and through. And just look at the amount of angles NS is holding. They know exactly what to do. They know exactly the flood points for the opponents as well. And here you go. Another man falls down. 60 FPS as well is now starting to put on some numbers on the board for Karizzma. But it's a little bit too late when you've got the entirety of NS just instantly activating through.
Well, let's see how Karizzma is going to try and react. As you mentioned, NS, everything is prepared by them. They are well set to dominate on this map. The jump shot over there is barely missing out on how that trade happened. Drago needs to be careful. Cosmo gets picked off, and at least for the next few seconds, Karizzma will be able to retain some control. Sinister moves in as well, but here come the players of NS.
Okay, hold on.
Sinister helps them hold on to the hard point for the few extra seconds, but look at the counter. NS, they're not letting them get those points for free.
Yeah, just like their name, they're looking pretty non-stop. And even the man was trying to eat him outside. You also saw Cosmo once again just popping off on the board. You can look at the kill feed. Cosmo is popping over and over again. And Cosmo himself is getting so much of that job done. But even Bond is trying his best to get something done. And what am I watching? Bond, the man was right in the front, but still he sort of missed. His hands were too busy. He was trying to deploy that thing, but unfortunately things just did not really work out. The kill feed is now just favoring the players of NonStop over and over again. They're popping off.
Yeah, it feels like Karizzma just got confused over there for a few seconds, and the team synergy not really present. NS on the other side. Cosmo is doing so much, finds one, goes down, but did enough damage to allow his teammates to actually secure the trade very easily. And NS still on fire, but Karizzma being able to control the hard point for a few extra seconds do bring their counter just a little bit up, 25 to 62. NS still with the advantage in this fight.
Ooh. Heavy investments coming through from Cosmo, considering the man was popping off. So yes, he's now already pulled out the equalizer. And if this man finds a little bit of that trail as well off the enemies, he's definitely going to keep on going off. So NS, at this point in time, they're the one on the dominating side of things. And you can see, too, Cosmo is once again looking unstoppable with the equalizer. Already found a two-piece for himself, and he's still looking to find even more. Non-stop, they're constantly dominating and ramming through the players of Karizzma. As Karizzma, they're left with no answer. And here comes the Purifier as well. There are some heavy investments being made from the side of Non-stop, which makes a lot of sense, too, because it's just dominating this map one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, the domination helps them bring those core streaks up, the operator skills as well, and they're using everything they have in their kit to try and beat down on the players of Karizzma as quickly as possible. 104 to 25, going over 4x score right now. I mean, if they get that 100-point difference in, they are going to get extremely comfortable in the side of this game, but let's see how the rest of the match turns out. Still a long way to go to close out the series.
Indeed, man. NS Esports is looking indeed non-stop. And with the way things are going, too, it feels like NS is going to make this matchup pretty one-sided. 40 to 104. Already the lead is quite massive in the hands of non-stop. And once again, the equalizer pulled out from Sinister this time around. Hopefully he's going to find the value that the man needs to. Karma is approaching the point as well. And here comes the welcome. Equalizer onto the face, and Karma's not going to stand a chance. Still Sinister. He's got the operators available on his hands, but unfortunately was not able to get the most out of it. Just that one kill, and that's going to be a little bit disappointing. Especially looking at how things are going on, too. I mean, non-stop. Slowly and steadily, though, they're definitely losing the lead that they had inside the game, and it's all thanks to Drago Sparrow. He was able to find so much value with that on the point itself. It's like the players of Karizzma, they've got the point on lockdown, and NonStop is not able to break through. But here comes the push, finally. Now they push in tandem. Team plays something that's going to save the day for NonStop as well, and the same thing can be said for Karizzma, too. At the start, it felt like Karizzma was trying to put the pieces together, but finally, now Karizzma as well, they do understand what they need to do in order to counter the players of NonStop. And once again, they've got the hard point control, but as soon as I say so, the score line is quite stuck now. The next hard point's going to pop up, and already you see the players of NonStop on that hard point, so they've got the control. Even the setup comes into play, and this is where the players of Karizzma, they might just be caught off guard, but they're still able to break through the barriers that the players of NonStop are putting up, and NonStop, they're just crumbling down. It's like a piece of puzzle instantly getting dismantled by the players of Karizzma. Even the claw being pulled out by the man himself, and Bond is able to find so much value. He's already holding the choke points, but the players of NS Esports are not able to get the control of this hard point in their hands. It is a big problem, and if the same thing keeps on happening non-stop, they might just lose the lead. It's not going to be that far away, where non-stop might just lose out on this map as well, and this is something that might just hurt the players of non-stop too much, but as soon as I say so, here comes the comeback.
Well, the comeback is insane indeed from the side of Karizzma. They've managed to cut down the difference between the two teams by quite a lot. And NS, their momentum was shut down, but at least for the next few seconds, they have control of this hard point again. But moving on to the next one, 147 to 92, Karizzma. They're trying their level best to bring themselves back into a fighting position. And now with this close to 50-point difference, NS, can they regain the momentum? It's going to be a big question. Look at Smitty. He needs to be careful. If he moves in, he's going to be in big trouble. But still, Smith points to that. And it's Vaughn now who finds an extra kill for his first. They could this game with this one. Vaughn, another one on the board, looking for the third. There it is. And NS now, it seems like a very close to being shut down in this match.
Yeah, Karizzma's now starting to make things pretty tight. I'm not gonna lie. NonStop is starting to struggle here. NonStop needs to do something to get the pace back inside of the game. And look at the shutdowns that are coming through. Bond, this man, single-handedly is manhandling NonStop. Well, NonStop, once again, they're on the verge of losing this hard point. And they pretty much do as well. They do not really have to control anymore. And No Skill was able to find a two-piece as well on the point itself. That's going to give the entire points flow back in the hands of NonStop, maybe. But considering the upcoming points, now is all it's going to pop up. Galaxia is going to be the one to be a little bit more proactive and get it in their hands.
Well, let's see. 124 to 159. Karizzma, they've done an impressive job. Cosmo sitting there. The Sparrow comes out, and this could be trouble for the players of NS. But Cosmo survives with the equalizer. Does a brilliant job of shutting down the retake coming in from the side of Karizzma. And now for this hard point, the fight is going to be an important one as well. Cosmo picking up brilliant angles over there, finds a 2K, and Cryptic sitting in the corner with that Purifier. He needs to go big, needs to shut down this retake.
Oh my god.
Lemon, what was that? Shuts down the players of Karizzma even before they reached the entry of that hard point. What was that?
Right.
Impressive.
Now you can say NS is once again back in the race. Look at the setups that NS are showcasing. They've got the players completely wrapped up, and it's like the players of Karizzma, they're just walking into the crosshairs of NonStop. Even there was a war machine pulled out by Karma, and the man took the choke point in his hands quite beautifully. Took care of the players that try to breach in through that area. Lemon and Cosmo, these two guys are just popping off over and over again. If you get an equalizer in the hands of Cosmo, this man will dominate the field.
Well, I mean, this domination is looking extremely good coming in from the players of NS, just 40 points away from closing out this very first map. And look at them move in for this last hard point. What could be the last hard point of the game. This is right in the base of the players of Karizzma, and they are going to try to fight for this one. They can try and bring themselves back, but no, says the players of NS, as the retake is going to be brilliant. And yeah, they show up once again. NS in complete control of the game. Lemon finds another big frag for his team, shuts down the players of Karizzma even before they get anywhere close to that hard point. Lemon finally shut down. Still NS in the driving seat, 224 to 134, close to a 100-point difference. Karizzma, I think this might already be over.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it feels like. 224, the lead's too massive. And now for Karizzma to try and get the pace back in the hand, it seems a little bit too much. The momentum's lost, and for NonStop, this is something that they once again gained back in the hands. NonStop started in quite a dominating note. In the mid-phase, it felt like Karizzma was almost on the verge of capitalizing that lead, but then later on, it's NonStop once again maintaining that lead consistently. And now NonStop, you can look at the kill feed too. It's NonStop all across the board. And it feels like the players of Karizzma, they're not even able to win a single duel. But 246 is where the stopper's going to be onto the point. As the next hard point's now going to pop up, you can already see the players of NonStop wanting to clear the hard point, and here you go. It is going to be in the hands of Karizzma for now, but NonStop, as long as they play together, it should not be a tough breach.
I think this is already over, though. I think it doesn't matter. NonStop, as you mentioned, Necro, they should be able to close out this match, especially a big performance coming in from Cosmo and Lemon, both of them sitting over 35 frags. These two individuals, Bonnie's going to try and move in. Karizzma, they tried their level best, but NS finally closed out this map once. Summit secured, and in a comfortable manner as well.
And NonStop started things off in quite the dominating note, but then in the mid-phase, it felt like Karizzma was once again able to get the momentum back in their hands. But in the late game, Karizzma, for some reason, started to choke. Only if Karizzma would have went on with that same momentum, maybe things could have been different. But the equalizer from Cosmo, this man was cooking the entirety of Karizzma.
Yeah, I mean, Cosmo, and he had a lot of support coming in from Lemon as well. At crucial points, I mean, when there was that slip up from NS and Karizzma started to catch up, that is when Lemon stepped up and shut them down instantly once they got very close to them, in fact.
Yeah.
But again, these two individuals were very impressive. But again, Necro, I mean, we've seen this, right? a team dominates on Summit and then, not on Summit, but on Hardpoint, and then something else entirely happens in the next two modes. So there is still an opportunity. Karizzma, we see a lot of potential in them as well. I mean, the firepower is definitely looking quite amazing. But if the tactics are good, you never know. Maybe they can walk away with a W on that next mode, Search and Destroy.
Now, you cannot really take it away from Drago, too, from Karizzma, right?
Yeah.
The Sparrow from this man was able to find so much value. Drago was the only player who was getting multi-kills after multi-kills. He was able to clear the side as well, but unfortunately, his team was not really able to back him up on the hard point, so it is quite unfortunate for Karizzma. But as you mentioned, moving on towards Search and Destroy, the storyline can be completely different as well. You never know. It might just be Karizzma coming out on top. And looking at how NS Esports played in the previous entire game, it felt like they were quite inconsistent when it comes to the communication as well. There were a little bit of those errors being made into a few callouts.
I wouldn't call it errors. I think they just got a little overconfident once they had a big advantage in their hands. And we've seen that happen to teams in the past, right? Once you have a 100-point lead against your opposition, you tend to start backing off. That has happened to NS until screaming, guys, okay.
In general, for the players of course, Karizzma, the only thing it felt like was lacking was the consistency when it comes to getting the kills on the hard point, right? Sometimes it's no skill popping off, sometimes it's Drago popping off, and sometimes it's someone else completely. So here's the problem, right? If one player's popping off, he needs to pop off the entirety of the time. But sometimes even Drago was getting shut down, and the entirety of Karizzma felt like they had no replies to the players of NonStop, especially in the late game scenarios. NonStop was just running away with the lead over and over again.
I think one big thing over here, one big difference between the two sides was the fact that NS, if you look at the highlights on your screens right now, and you're going to notice this, the players of NS always stuck together, while we saw there were multiple moments where Karizzma, their players would move in one by one, and that's never going to work out. As soon as you get traded out, you lose pressure on the hard point and you lose pressure inside of the game. And NS, they never lost it because they were getting those constant trades. Someone went down, there was his teammate right next to him to trade him out, and Karizzma weren't really allowed control of the hard point for free. I think that is something that was a big difference between the two sides, but hey, it is all done, it's all over. NS did secure the win in this first game, and now it is going to be time for Karizzma to start focusing on the next two modes, Control, and before that, we have Search and Destroy.
Search and Destroy is going to be much more of a slower paced game, so that means maybe Karizzma can have much more time to understand what exactly is NS trying to bring on the board, and that's where you can say Bond and his teammates can try and do a little bit more better, especially Drago, right? In the previous hardpoint, Drago was on point, but sometimes the teammate, the cavalry, wasn't exactly on point, and that's where the real problems started to hit the deck. Before NS, I just love the team play that they had. They had a few players on the point itself, and a few players in the outskirts holding the choke points, and that's something that was catching the players of Karizzma completely off guard because they did not really expect the players to be in such off angles.
Yeah, again, I mean, it was the knowledge of the angles, knowledge of the map, knowledge of how this summit is supposed to be played, combined with that exceptional firepower coming in from Lemon and Cosmo, that resulted in NS having a comfortable time in the late stages of the game. Mid stages, I think Karizzma, I'm still surprised with how that comeback happened, and NS, it took them a while to figure out how to shut it down, but again, that was just the first mode itself. Search and Destroy, it can be a whole different story. As we have already mentioned, it's going to be a little bit slow, and that slow pace can result in Karizzma having an opportunity to secure a comeback win and equalizing the overall scoreboard with a 1-1.
Yeah. But that's where NS needs to be a little bit more aggressive, in my opinion. They need to be a little bit more proactive and make sure that the opponents are not really getting enough time to think through what you're cooking up. Because if NS Esports once again starts to play a little bit too slow and NonStop gives the opponent the breathing room that they exactly need to try and get their heads back inside of the game, that's where the real problems will start to cook. Understand this point. They've still got a player like Sinister, Bond, and Drago. These three guys can be more than enough to shut down a team like NonStop if they find the proper timing. So NonStop needs to understand the same thing and not be too complacent inside of the game.
Hey, but here it is. We have Express on our screens, and right off the bat, 60 FPS. But he has that Tundra to work with, needs to find that first frag. SND, that opening frag, that first kill, it's going to be the most important thing you can get to give your team.
Oh, here we go. Off the rip, Drago wanted to take the fight to the opponents face to face, but unfortunately, Karizzma, they do lose out on the man advantage. Now they're in a big disadvantage, actually. They're taking on the players of NonStop, 4-5. And it's going to be a little bit tough. And even NonStop is actually playing it quite slow, letting the players take their time, before they make the entrance towards the site. But here comes the push from Karma. He instantly was able to shut down Sinister, but even Bond replies back. But Sweetie says no with a kill on to 60. And that's where the real problems are now going to be there for Karizzma once again, because the trades are in the hands of NonStop, and they're constantly able to get the trades in their hands as well. And NonStop, well, here you go. The first round's going to be in the favor of NonStop.
Hey, I mean, Necro, we were talking about this, and it feels like NS just played that round out perfectly. They were very proactive in picking up the fights and, of course, finding the trades towards the end. I felt Cosmo had just walked into a trap when we saw that push happen, because he would have run out of ammunition in that 1v2, but his teammate right behind him was there to trade him out, and the numbers advantage plays out in the favor of NS. But it is time for round 2, and here we go again. This time, the players of Karizzma looking to make the push towards the A site.
In the previous round itself, it was Karma who was the major icebreaker. He pushed up and got the first kill. Who is it going to be this time around? That's the real question. Sweetie gets spotted on the side itself. It is quite a big blow to the players of NonStop, but still, you're talking about the trades, and NonStop somehow, they always do find those on the positive side of things. But this time around as well, Karizzma, they're not that far back. Even they're getting the trades instantly on the board. It's 3-3.
Oh, Karma has been shut down, and Lemon is being chased. Look at the map over there. Need to find the trade. It needs to be big. Oh, the shot barely connects. Barely finding the pick with the pistol. He's going to close him out. And now the numbers advantage in the favor of Karizzma. Lemon misses out on an opportunity to strike a big blow onto Karizzma. They have the man advantage to work with. At 60 FPS, he's still alive with that sniper. There's a big threat still on the board. And so 1v3 now.
Even the bombs planted on the A site, Johnny, so that's for the defenders. Now they need to hurry up a little bit more, but Lemon, what a shot that was! A quick scope and the flick onto the opponent, but Lemon's now starting to miss a lot of shots as well. It's not looking too good. He's missed out on 2 kills, which he could have found in the first spray itself. But Lemon, a little bit of that whip is now going to keep him in a really big, uncomfortable situation. Let's see how is he going to recover himself from such a bad spot. Still needs to make it pretty quick, considering he does not really have a lot of time left. And here comes the spray from Drago, and that's going to be the equalizer.
Oh boy, 1-1 on the board, Chris, but they find the equalizer. And again, this time, I mean, that first frag secured by the players of Karizzma, it did get traded out, but again, 60 FPS with that Tundra, very impressive. Finds 2 players, causes a lot of trouble for Lemon, keeps him distracted for a long time while his teammates get picked off on the other side. Round number 3, let's see. Simone, oh, he's in such a tough position. Smitty gets shut down by Bond, and this time there is not going to be a trade coming in for NS.
I love the proactive control from the side of Karizzma. They're looking much more confident in the approach, but as soon as I say so, that proactive approach has already been shut down by Karma and Cosmos. This duo once again strikes pretty hard in Karizzma. Now they're left in shambles. You've got Sinister wanting to get the equal numbers on the board, but still seems pretty tough. It's 4-2. Already the man number, the man advantage if you try and talk about it. It's big time in the hands of NonStop. And now for the players of Karizzma, yeah, they're showcasing their backs to the opponents.
2-1. NS somehow walking away with the win. After that first frag, did not feel like there was going to be an opportunity of secured, but they'll make it work. Let's see how it out now. Round number. Oh, that open dual crossbow, a lot of damage done to No Skill, and he managed to evade the threat in the front lines. Lemon with that, he's ready to pick off, take control of that B site.
Man's got the boys under scope, and still as he's keeping on moving, 60 FPS. He gets struck down this time around. Cosmo, he wants to take the fight up close and personal, but what am I watching? Lemon, this man is single-handedly starting to clear the site. Eventually he does get cleared out, but then Cosmo happens, and Cosmo finds a 2-piece of his own. And somewhere down line now, Karizzma realizes the only way they can find success is by shutting down Cosmo. But as soon as that happens, it's completely fine. The team, they have got each other's back.
Oh boy, this is getting intense. More and more intense by the second now. 3-1 non-stop. I think they have figured out how to shut down Karizzma. And just like yesterday, Necro, today, it's the same story. The entire game plan of Karizzma coming down to two players, 60 FPS and Drago, and as soon as one of those two men goes down, it is NonStop in the driver's seat. Look at this, Cosmo gets a 2K and a big one as well. No skill shut down. It's down to the last man from the side of Karizzma in a 1v3, and this is such a tough job, especially for the sniper. Picking off 3 players, unless we get to see some nasty flicks. This round is done, and with a pistol, Smitty spites the opponents. 4-1 on the board. NS, I mean, the first half, they just dominated that entire first half.
Yeah, they're now starting to run through the series as well. If NS wins this entire search and destroy, that's going to be it. Karizzma will be kicked outside of the tournament, and that's going to be a big blow, considering Karizzma, they did show a lot of charisma in the previous stages itself, but now to get kicked out like this, it is definitely going to sting. Karma, once again, looking to take the fight a little bit more closer to the opponents. You can see the presence as well from the side of Karizzma. It's a little bit more towards the A side itself. They've got 3 players destined towards that area. And the fight breaks out. It's going to be Karma, considering he finds the positive trait for his team, and even Cosmo is able to back it up. Now that's massive. The players of Karizzma, they're slowly and steadily dropping down, and that's not looking too nice, considering another man hits the deck, and now it's down to just Sinister, and Sinister as well gets spotted from the back. It's like NonStop. They've got the control of the entire map. They've got the CCTV control. That's what it feels like.
They know exactly where everyone is, have all the information, but hey, let's see now. NonStop, they are on the attacking side, Karizzma on the defense. And I think this is the opportunity that NonStop were waiting for. They have a big advantage to work with already, having secured 5 rounds in that first half, and now moving in the second half, they have the luxury of all of them playing together. It's just going to be like hard point again to them.
Indeed. A slow and steady start this time around, considering Karizzma, they've realized one thing. Taking it aggressive is not going to work out, and even they've been pushed all the way back in defense, so Karizzma on the defending side, playing it really passive. But here's the problem, NonStop, they've already got the site control. And now for Karizzma to breach in, it's looking really tough. Team play has to be the main aspect. That's the only way Karizzma can break through this defensive wall that the players of NonStop have created. Once again, the sniper's got that angle on the lockdown. And Lemon has also got a Fennec as the secondary. And Lemon now is just going all the way in the back lines to clear the flank. He's going to soon enough face off against No Skill.
All of them falling back together, NonStop looking to switch up instead of B. They are looking to move towards A, but there's a defender waiting for them over there. It's going to be No Skill, and information is going to be relayed towards his team. They miss out on his position, but he still goes down. What a flick! Crip! What was that? No Skill fails to find a frag, and now the numbers are equalized between the two sides. Karizzma, they're going to be forced to play this retake. The bomb yet to be planted, and look at how NS is playing this. Lemon, look at his position. He was left in the back lines, picks off Sinister and swings the numbers advantage in the favor of his team.
Yeah, that was a big-time choke, and that just costed the man advantage Karizzma had. And now look at this as well. Even the sniper gets spotted. 60 FPS. He needs to connect every single shot. He cannot even afford to miss one single bullet. But Drago, there we go. Drago's not going to get the advantage back in the hands of Karizzma. And maybe this is going to be the stabilizer they were looking for. 2 to 2. Once again, things are looking quite stable on the board. Drago as well, it's moving quite nicely. And you've also got Sweetie holding the close quarters. Drago, once again, needs to be a little bit more quick on the feet. He's going to spot another player in the front. They're starting to get wrapped up from the back, and Drago's going to be surprised. The diffuser gets spotted as Z gets struck down. It's going to be Sweetie once again, and Sweetie's got the hands on the KRM as well. So facing Sweetie up close will be pretty tough. And there we go. NS, they once again run away with another round.
Well, saw him right in the eye before saying, "What's up, boy? What are you doing?" Shoots him while he's lying down, thinking it's going to be an easy defuse. And what a play coming in from the NS once again. 6-1. Let's see, it could be potentially the last round of this entire series. Cosmo just sprays the entire clip up in the air, finds the frag looking for more, and NS, in a matter of seconds, just wiped the floor with Karizzma.
I'm loving this aggression from NS. It's like they're so confident. They know that the opponents, they don't even stand a chance inside of this matchup. The search and destroy is being dominated by NS, completely one-sided. And Karizzma, they're left with big shocks on their faces. And somewhere down line, even Karizzma themselves know that they don't stand a chance anymore inside of the game. It's just one last man. No Skill. Can he really pop off and clutch it out? Might just be too much to ask for, but at least he can go down as a warrior. Maybe you try and get a few kills in his hands. try and make a highlight play. But
Oh,
unfortunately, no skill.
Execution.
Here comes the finisher. This is going to be a big salt on top of the wounds.
Man, the execution in the end to flex right in their faces. That is how you end a series in style. And NS, what a way to kick things off. Man, again, I mean, there's a lot of hope from NS this year as well. I'm not surprised. I mean, I would love to see them on LAN again, to be honest. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, if they keep on playing like this, we might as well see them on land, right? And as you mentioned, the execution in the end, the finisher to end things off on that map of Search and Destroy, it was perfect. And now, knowing the fact that Karizzma, for them, it was a big salt on top of the wound type of moment, it is going to be tough for them to recover in the future tournaments as well. So let's just hope that Karizzma, you are able to get the reset on your mindsets.
Well, what's the point of a reset if they just got eliminated from the tournament, man?
In the future tournaments, man, maybe Karizzma will be back.
Wait an entire year for that, but let's see. I mean, how things are going to turn out for them. Hopefully, once they come back strong, hopefully, if they make a comeback, they're going to be stronger in the next season. But what a play coming in from NS. And again, I mean, this time it was nice seeing how Smitty was playing Limon and Cosmo took a backseat until in the last round it was Cosmo who just like, I don't know how he found those 3 kills, man. That was impressive.
It indeed was.
Yeah.
I mean, Cosmo was the one who was popping off quite on big margins. Then you also had his back by Karma. Even Karma this time around was doing so good in Search and Destroy. It just sort of caught me off guard too. And even Smitty, man, you can't take it away from Smitty too. This man, with the Desert Eagle in his hand, was also able to do so much.
Yeah, I think Smitty was given the job of just finding the trades, make sure that no one goes down for free. And Smitty did a brilliant job as well. Look at this. The Desert Eagle frags, man, just shutting down that sniper for that. I think that was the last round of the first half, the second last round of the first half. And after that, I think NS just looked very comfortable once they switched over to the attacking side.
I mean, just look at this. Smitty, this has got to be a joke, right? The man was treating the opponents like they were not even a competition. And of course, in the end, here comes the execution. What a way to end things off for NonStop. Showcasing what they're capable of, showcasing what they mean to this entire tournament. And once again, we talked about the org being the OG org, and we really expect a lot from them. They've got so much to live up to. Where here you go. This time as well, they've got quite a solid lineup.
Yeah, they have a solid lineup, and the lineup is performing very well. The players are looking very good. I mean, all of them, you talk about Smitty, Cosmo, all of them performing very well. And again, I think that last moment, I think Smitty just baited himself out for that execution to come in. Just, all right, I'm gonna die, you finish him off in style, because that was the last frag of the entire series. But a quick 2-0, man. I mean, that was a quick one as well.
It indeed was a quick one. I did not really expect someone to go that one-sided. I'm not going to lie, Johnny.
Yeah,
I expected maybe things to be a little bit more up close and personal, considering Karizzma, especially in that mid-phase, they started to showcase some signs of comeback, but unfortunately, even those were snatched away. And now, Johnny, in the upcoming moments, we're also going to see NS facing off against T2P. That's going to be quite interesting. But the upcoming matchup as well should be super intense. I want to see it be a little bit more closer.
Yeah, I mean, that is what we expect, right? I mean, it is going to be Vengeance against SLN. And, of course, few more matches lined up. After that, Strike against Fate. We have Dope against MonarchX Esports. But I think it is going to be interesting to see how the series turns out. I think there is going to be there are going to be lessons learned by these teams, by the matches that have happened. But, hey, there's an update. So what has happened right now for the very next matchup is Vengeance. They really did not have the entire squad together, because of which they did not have all 5 players. They aren't able to show up for the game, and it's going to be a default win for SLN. So, unfortunately for us, we do not get to witness the fight between the two sides, but fortunately for SLN, they're going to be awarded the win.
I'm not exactly sure what the problems were for the side of course, the team that forfeited. But hey, man, for SLN, it's quite a free victory, right, Johnny? It's a win-win situation for them. They do not even need to compete. Just straight up sit back, relax in their chairs, and they already move on to the upcoming round of the lower brackets.
True. And again, what's better than the easiest win? Like, you win without even playing, right? But SLN, I think this leaves them a little bit more time to prepare for their match tomorrow. So again, considering they have survived elimination at least for today without even picking up their weapons, better practice and do your homework for the team that you are going to face off tomorrow. That is going to be the important one, and it's not going to be an easy matchup. And same goes for NS. NS is going to go up against Time to Pound. That's what we saw in the updated brackets there.
Hey, what about the homework that they did against Team Vengeance? Now, that's going to be all down the drain, right, Johnny? A free victory?
Yeah, true.
Well, you've already gotten that on the board. So, yeah, for Team Vengeance, as I mentioned, we do not exactly know what the reason is behind not really having all the 5 players ready for today's matchup. But, yeah, it just blows to be on Team Vengeance side. But it's a really good news for SLN considering they move on to the upcoming round as well. Before now, with that being said, it's time for us to toss to a short break before we move on to the upcoming matchup.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Now it's time for me to turn around. Thought you knew what this was. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have felt for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back your heart. Carried away, ooh, you made me to say. Even this one breakless space is staying in place. I was stuck in place, then you got in the way. All the time we made, got me stuck in the rain. Got no time to stay here and say goodbye. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have felt for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back your heart. Call it a savage love, just till I had enough of us.
back after that short break as now we move on to the match number 3 of the day. Team Strike versus Team Fate, Johnny. And especially for both these teams as well. Once again, you can say, what the newer bunch? The lower brackets is all about the underdogs. And this time around as well, you never know what to expect.
Exactly. I mean, we don't know what to expect, but once again, I mean, what we hope for is a close matchup, unlike the previous one where it was just non-stop with non-stop domination up against Karizzma. So it's going to be exciting to see what Strike and Fate right now have to offer. And of course, I'm pretty sure their competitors from the next round of this lower bracket are also waiting and watching to see what these teams are to deliver and how they can better prepare for them once they show up and move up in this lower bracket.
Considering both these teams are quite the newer bunch on the block as well, the underdogs if you'd like to call them, you never really know what to expect. And the same thing is pretty much going to be happening with both these teams as well. Even for Strike, they do not really know what to expect from the side of Team Fate. And even for Team Fate, you do not really know what to expect from Team Strike. So both these teams colliding for the first time against each other. I would like to see what's going to be the action about. And first of all, the main icebreaker is going to be all about the map pool itself, right? We never know which map is going to be the first one to be played.
Exactly. I mean, map pool itself is going to be quite exciting, but again, I think it's time to look at the updated brackets before we move forward. And as we mentioned, Vengeance, they have been eliminated from the tournament. Unfortunately, all 5 players weren't available, so they don't have their entire roster available for the match right now. So SLN working with a default win. And Strike and Fate, they need to be careful. Whoever moves up, they get to face off against NVT in the next round. So they have to be on point for that one. Before that, the map pool for this matchup, I think it's going to be the same, man. Summit is going to be there for Hardpoint. I don't think no one's going to go for Hacienda. What do you think?
I would love to see Hacienda. I generally think so this time around we might just see Hacienda on play. And speaking of Hacienda, let's move on and look at Strike's roster. Let's see the playing 5 player for the side of Strike, considering you've got Levi, Vibe, Lament, and you've also got Nazi, and you've also got Igrain inside of this entire lineup, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting to see how this team actually kicks things off, and again, which map they kick things on off on. So it's going to be interesting to see how the entire series is going to be. But let's see. I mean, Hacienda, Summit, that is going to be a conversation. Then once you move on from there, Search and Destroy, it's going to be an interesting conversation. But again, before the map, before the veto, let's have a look at the roster for Team Fate as well. Let's see the players that we are going to witness in action right now. We have Rin, we have Titan, we have Shenzo, we have Delu, and Poseidon Rock in the side of Fate.
Ooh, for Team Fate, once again, this is going to be quite a tough matchup. In general, both these teams, considering they're going to be colliding for the first time ever against each other, it is supposed to be quite a close and a tough matchup. Or at least that's what we expected for the previous one as well, right? We expected quite a close call, but that was not the case, Johnny. It was not exactly a close call. Instead, things were way too intense between those, and especially knowing the fact that inside of the first hard point itself, we thought that maybe a comeback could have been there from the opponents, but no, in the end, it was snatched away once again.
Yeah, but let's see. I mean, it's a new day. It's a new style of play that I think we are going to witness from these two teams. And I think, again, as you mentioned, both of them newer faces on the block. So before they actually reveal their strategies, I think they're going to try and test each other on the fundamentals. And if those work out, I mean, then might as well just continue playing with the default strategies. But it is time. Let's see the veto. Let us see which maps have been selected by these sites and which maps we're going to witness the action on. And there we have it. All right. It's going to be standoff.
Finally, something new outside of the mix, right? We're seeing standoff being picked from the side of Strike. Now, it's been a while since I've also got a chance to cast this map, and you move on towards firing range and search and destroy. So even that's going to be quite an interesting one. And Raid is going to be the equalizer, or maybe you can't say the decider for both these teams, which will be played on Control itself. And now Raid has pretty much been the default map for Control.
Yeah, I mean, but I really like standoff. As you mentioned, Raid has been kind of default. Firing range, search and destroy makes things extremely interesting. But I really like standoff. And for Hardpoint, I think this is going to be that map that gives us the most exciting matchup. New teams, Summit, again, an OG map, so everyone knows the strategies on standoff. The plays can be very varied in the sense that you have an opportunity to just rotate around those hard points and just completely try and pinch the teams to try and shut them down, and then passively control those hard points from a distance if the one man you send inside of that hard point is able to survive for even just a decent amount of time. But let's see, it is time to kick things off. Team Strike up against Team Fate, and of course the first mode hard point, the map is going to be standoff. Here we go.
Standoff rolls up on the screen, and let's see who's going to be the one to get the early advantage in their hands, because that's going to be the main momentum setter. Whichever team gets the control in their hands off the rip, they're instantly going to have the momentum and the swing of things back in their hands. I mean, for now, it feels like the players of Strike definitely are looking a little bit struck, considering Levi is just standing there. Maybe the man's facing some issues, but we don't exactly know what's going on behind the scenes. But you can see the players of Team Strike, they're not really having that good of a start.
Well, they're not off to a great start, and Fate on the other side just moving in, take control of the hard point. Rain, he needs to be careful, get shut down, but before going down, he finds 2 important frags for his team. Look at now, as I said, the pin strategy coming through, but the Ray is going to be whipped, and now he's going to be shut down as well. And somehow Team Strike regaining control of this hard point. It seems like they are back in this fight.
They indeed are. I mean, looking at the kill feed itself, it feels like Fate is also getting the job done. Poseidon Rock as well is not doing too bad. He's also able to get a few kills to himself too. And now looking at Lamed too, even he's able to find those kills on towards the choke point. So now for Team Fate to try and breach on in, it's looking really tough. Team Strike, they've stolen the momentum away from the side of Team Fate, and now Team Strike, they've got the points flow.
Well, they have the points flowing in their favor. Fate to retaliate, and Vibe on the other side looking to move in towards this hard point. Rain, what a jump shot coming in. Just shuts down that man on that first floor. And I think Fate now are finally starting to struggle inside of this game.
They indeed are, Johnny. And for Team Strike, this is exactly what they were looking for. Striking constantly. Team Fate, as you mentioned, now starting to choke a little bit. They do not even have the proper map awareness. The information is something that's lacking. And Lament, he's actually able to find a lot of those numbers on the board too. Before the entirety of Team Strike, one thing is for sure, the momentum that was lost off the rip, they finally gained it back in their hands. And now Fate is starting to struggle too much to the point where they're not even able to find the breach on the point.
Well, let's see, 21-58 now. As you mentioned, Fate struggling to breach inside of these hard points. And again, the kill feed as well, completely being dominated by the side of Team Strike. All of them just doing a brilliant job. Rain spots out 2 players, takes down 1. The second man stopped in his track, and Delu is going to be shut down as well. Rainy goes big.
Oh
Here
my
comes
God,
out
hold
the
on.
Annihilator, whips the first shots, lands the second. And this is the weapon now that the players of Team Fate have to be worried about. 1 more man picked off. As long as there's Annihilator is there, it's going to be close to impossible for the players of Team Fate to move in.
Yeah, the man was popping off at that Annihilator. He got so many kills. Those multi-kills are something that definitely helps out a lot. And just look at the heavy investments that are now starting to come in. The operator skills are being utilized from the side of Team Strike because they're constantly getting the kills on the board as well. And they're actually able to refresh them pretty quickly too. Lament as well is able to find a lot of those multi-kills for himself. And now at this point in time, Team Strike is just running away with the lead too. It does not feel like cracking this defense open from the side of Team Strike. It's going to be too easy for Fate.
Well, they are making it look very easy, but Fate, I mean, still struggling. Strike, look at this. Poseidon Rock, he's trying his level best to move in, but by the time he makes it there, Vibe is going to be prepared. Vibe's HP not really there, and that allows the trade for the side of Fate to come in, but not enough time on that hard point. And now they're going to have to switch up, but before them, Team Strike actually makes a leap for that hard point control. Look at how well they have it surrounded. And before Fate can move in, Strike, they managed to cross that 100-point marker. I think Strike is just going to run away with this matchup, man.
Yeah, probably that's what it seems like, Johnny. I mean, with the way things are looking like for Strike, they're constantly running away with the points flow as well. And for Team Fate, for some reason, the team play does not seem that well. The communication is something that's not being relied properly, and that's why the set plays from Team Strike, they've been looking much more dominant. But this claw from Titan, it might just be the table turner. It was able to find a few frags on the board itself on the hard point, but it might just be a little bit too late considering Team Strike, they've already built such a massive lead.
Well, there is a massive lead on the board, and that just gives them a little bit more comfort in their ability to move in. But this hard point, it's a difficult one to control, and Fate, they get their hands on it first. And as the players of Strike look to move in, look to go for the retake, they are getting shut down again and again. This is going to be an important kill. If Vibe can find it, he finds it. But now the second man's waiting right around the corner. Vibe needs to be careful, get shut down. No trade coming in for the side of Strike until a few seconds later. But still, Fate, they managed to bring themselves back into this match. Oh no, gets a little too overconfident, and this could be the opportunity for Strike to strike a blow, and they move for the next hard point. We do have the players of Fate struggling still inside of this game, but Strike, I think this could be their opportunity to get themselves as close to 150 as possible.
Yeah, still a comeback is possible though, Johnny. 70 to 130 is not that bad. Still, if Team Fate, if they tie things up right now, they can definitely make sure that Team Strike is going to be struggling a little bit more. But this time, Fate is actually doing pretty decent. Fate is making sure that the players of Team Strike team are not really going to be having a smooth time on towards this hard point. But as soon as I say so, it's once again the multi-kills from the side of Strike.
Yeah, but it is going to be down to those operative skills and score streaks if they can get them in. Look at this, Levi has the UAV available, but finds a big frag actually with that Odin, denies the entry to the players of Fate, and Strike, I think this is going to be a big one. They're going to try and deny the rotation. Barely manages to catch one off guard. Could have gotten two if the timing was right, but doesn't matter. They have the upper hand in this fight, 143 to 78, and it's time to rotate for the next one. This one is all about getting there first. And Strike, since they have moved in a little bit quicker than the side of Fate, I think they are going to be able to close out this match and get a big advantage. Close to, well, they have doubled up the point pretty much against the side of Fate already.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Team Strike have already got a humongous lead going on for themselves. But still, if you want to be a little bit more optimistic, you can't say there's still a big chance that they might just be the one to pop off and pull off an insane comeback. There's definitely a chance. The operator skills are available too. Even one single operator skill, if it's able to find the proper mark, you can instantly get the hardpoint control and then play for a much more of a better setup on the hardpoint itself. All it takes is one proper control, but for Team Strike, they've already realized that thing. Team Strike, they're not here to play. Instead, they're looking pretty competitive.
Yeah, they're looking very competitive, doing a brilliant job. Look at the players and the kills, right? You have Lament sitting on 30, Rain on 27, Levi on 26. So all of them doing very well. Nat on 20 as well. On the other side, from the side of Fate, it is just one man, Delu, who's sitting on 21 kills, Titan with 16, and everyone else is struggling so much. Now on 8, Rin on 9, Poseidon Rock on just 11 frags secured so far.
196 to 79, Johnny. Team Strike, they've got a massive lead at this point. And yes, now you can say making a comeback is going to be next to impossible. Yeah. No matter how hard Team Fate tries, it's going to be really tough. Because Team Fate so far, they aren't even able to put a proper scratch against the players of Team Strike. And just look at the amount of kills that they're able to find. Even this War Machine from the side of Vibe is able to find so much value. Another man's going to be shut down as well. Vibe was able to get so many kills with that War Machine. And just that one single play from Vibe is now going to cripple the players of Team Fate.
But look at this, Strike very close to closing out the match. Lament and Levi, they get those multi-frags, and I think Lament, he's still standing there, so they should be able to close out this match very quickly. 17 seconds left on this hard point. They're going to have to fight for the next one for the last few points to close out this game. Nat runs back with the Fennec, runs out of ammunition, gets taken down, but his teammate is right there next to him to trade him out. Titan somehow manages to survive, but instantly goes down as well. 237, 284, 239. The last 11 points remaining for Strike to strike the final blow.
It's been a while since I've seen that switchblade in action, and one of the players was actually using that too. But yeah, look at Poseidon Rock. Finally, the man's able to pop off with the equalizer. Poseidon Rock, he was able to shut down so many players off Team Strike single-handedly, but maybe a little bit too late. Considering Fate now, it's already too late. They can't really get a lot done. And here comes the Predator Missile 2 from Vibe. He's able to find Noah. But that's it. Now gets taken down. Vibe is once again just racking up so many kills after kills. This one single man, Vibe, the amount of kills that he got in the past couple of minutes is insane.
Yeah, it is insane. And there we have it. The last point also secured, and Strike leading the charge now 1-0 against the side of Fate. And they are looking very strong, to be honest. And I feel, I mean, even when we move on to Search and Destroy, it might be firing range, but Strike can actually close the series out with a 2-0.
They indeed can, man. I mean, for Team Strike, if the same thing keeps on happening as well in the future times, then things are definitely going to be much more dicier for their opponents. And knowing the fact that it's going to be Search and Destroy, maybe I would still like to be a little bit more optimistic towards the side of Team Fate and say, considering it is much more of a slower game mode, Team Fate can have much more time to understand how the set plays are looking like from their opponents. But man, if the variation, if the difference, it keeps on kicking in, then that's where, of course, Strike is going to have the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, they are going to have the upper hand. And again, I mean, Lament, very important player for this team, securing all of those frags in the early stage as well. So Strike, I mean, on an individual level, they were doing very well for themselves. It is going to be important for Fate to find an answer. I mean, it's just one player, not just one player that you have to worry about right now. It's 3 players from the side of Strike that you have to strike down. And for the side of Fate, I think It was an impressive start, but they just keep losing momentum. I mean, there was a point where we saw them make a little bit of a comeback during the mid-game stages, but then they were shut down as well. And someone needs to back each other up. Delu, he was doing so well in the early stages, but I think towards the end, even he just gave up.
Yeah, but keep this thing in mind too, Johnny, right? In Search and Destroy, it's going to be the classic map. It is going to be the OG map, Firing Range itself, and once again, considering it is the OG map, I really do expect, once again, Team Strike to dominate, because considering it is the OG map and Team Strike, they seem much more of a confident bunch today around. And Firing Range is one of those comfort picks for both these teams. And considering it is the comfort pick for Team Strike as well, there's a high chance they might just run through with the lead.
I mean, you never know. There is a possibility, but still they will have to be on point if they want to secure this win. And it's not going to be easy, though, with how Strike has been playing. I mean, they look very impressive, but we've noticed this in the past as well. It happened yesterday. You slip up for a second and you end up losing the series. So you still have to be careful. Doesn't matter if you won the first match and dominated in the first match.
Pretty much. I mean, with how things started off as well for the entirety of, you can't say, the entirety of F8, I generally thought that maybe F8 can put up a really tough fight against the players Team Strike, but then later on it was Team Strike just running away with the lead. As soon as they got that one hard point control, it felt like the players of Fate, they did not even stand a chance to breach through the defense that the players of Team Strike were able to bring up.
Well, let's see though. It is very exciting and very interesting to see how things are going to turn out now. I mean, there was a lot of hope from the side of Fate, but unfortunately not really being able to capitalize on anything inside of this game. And Strike, I think the team synergy as well from the side of Strike looked very good, because you look at these highlights and again focusing on the map, they were rotating on time, they were rotating together, everyone was backing each other up, no one was allowing Fate to get those free kills, and as long as you're not giving away kills for free, you are going to be able to control the map. And look at that. 3 players, over 30 kills. The worst performing player has more kills than the best performing player from the side of Team Fate.
Yeah, I mean, for Team Fate in general, you can't say everyone tried their best, but unfortunately, Team Fate, they were just not enough. Their best was not enough. For Team Strike, you clearly saw the difference between the number as well, right? For Team Strike, it's like the players were getting multi-kills after multi-kills. Just that one single man, he was able to find so many kills on the point itself. I'm speaking of Levi there, Johnny. Levi was able to pop off on all the other margins, and even Vibes was doing such a great job.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing a brilliant job. Vibes, I mean, we saw in the highlights as well at one point, just standing on that first floor, was able to protect the hard point for a long time until eventually 2 players came, one dropped him low, he picked him off, then got traded out because he did not really have the HP to even go for a fight over there. That's the only way it was going to work out for the side of Fate. But again, Search and Destroy, the next mode, it's completely different. No respawns, you go down, you wait for the next round. So again, if Fate just focus on the tacticality, there will be an opportunity for them to actually make a comeback into this series. But Strike, just on that firepower, there is a potential that they can walk away with a win as well. So again, still up for grabs the series. Let's see how the next mode is going to turn out. It's going to be very important.
Strike needs to do what NS did in the previous matchup in Search and Destroy, right? Pretty much try and copy-paste that on the map of Firing Rage. Be pretty aggressive. Do not let the opponents think what you're actually cooking up. And that's where NS Esports was able to bring that suspense in their own playstyle, and they were able to catch their opponents pretty off guard. And maybe that's going to be the similar playstyle Team Strike as well needs to pull up.
Well, let's see. I mean, what they're going to pull up and what strategies they're going to pull out right now. I mean, but I do agree with what you said. They need to do what NS did right now. Just be proactive, look for those frags. But at the same time, if you end up overextending, then you're going to give Fate the opportunity to get those early kills. And again, it is Search and Destroy, all about those early frags, all about getting those trades if you get those early frags in. So very important for the team to try and be extremely careful, and it also depends which side you are going to start on. For Strike, I think they are going to wish that they start on that defensive side, get as many rounds as possible. 3 to 4 rounds on the defensive side will definitely do them good. For the side of Fate Esports, they have to be as aggressive as they can be, because it's either make it or break it right now. They lose, they get eliminated, they win, they're still in the fight for survival.
But here we go, Johnny. Search and Destroy is going to be on the way. Firing Range is already booted up on the screen. For Fate, the only thing they're going to be hoping is that at least they're able to secure some dominating rounds in the first half itself, so that later on in the second half, maybe they can try and tighten things up a little bit more. Before Team Strike, they've already kicked things off on the aggressive note. It's Rain taking the fight up close and personal.
Oh, but the trade comes in. It's down to a 4v4. But no, Nat also getting shut down. Strike too aggressive over there. Titan as well finds one more. And Fate, they have the upper hand. Levi comes in with the trade. It's down to a 1 versus 2. Vibe, he's the last man surviving with that sniper. What a quick scope! That was an insane frag! Brings it down to a 1v1. And especially with the bomb being dropped inside that container, it's going to be interesting to see, can the players of Fate recover? Vibe moving in. Poseidon, he's prepared. Vibe misses out on the opposing player. And Poseidon strikes the first round in the hands of Fate.
All the self-doubts now might just start to fade away for Team Fate, and that's a great thing. Fate on the defense, they've actually showcased what they're capable of as they get the first round on the board. But keep this thing in mind, Johnny, the same start was also there in the hard point as well. Off the rip, Fate was dominating, but then later on it was Team Strike all over again. But is that going to be the similar thing happening inside of that Search and Destroy? That's the real question we're looking to find the answer to. As Titan, the man still holding quite a tight angle. Even Levi from the side of Strike is already able to find the Kickstarter. And here we go. Levi finds a second one, too. What a quick scope that was. This one single man's able to find so much value, Johnny, that already the site's now cleared up.
Well, let's see. It is going to be the side cleared up. 3 versus 2. Strike on the attack. This time looking good. The trade comes in, and now it's going to be Rain. Again, the last player surviving against Lament and Levi. This could be a round trade-off, spotted out and shut down as Lament with that Fennec finds the frag. 1-1 on the overall scoreboard. And Strike, I think, since they start off on this attack side, they have to make sure that they do not give Fate more than 2 rounds.
That's not a good thing for Team Fate, Johnny. Team Fate, they needed the second round as well just to put in that mental barrier against the players of Team Strike. But now that Team Strike is once again getting the second round in their hands, that means that's where they gain the mental edge over Team Fate. And for Team Fate, they're going to start to struggle. All those self-doubts, they're going to start to erupt once again in their minds. And this is exactly what you're looking for if you're Team Strike. Team Fate, though, this time around, they're taking things much more cautiously, much more slower. And that's where Team Strike is now starting to struggle, because Team Strike, they're not able to find the first strike they're looking for.
Let's see. Oh, what a shot! Not shut down instantly. But planted to Strike. At least that's something to work with. And Fate down to their last 2 players, Titan and Poseidon, all that are left. Poseidon, no HP to work with. Here comes the back, but he moves in a little too quick, and the timing of that free take completely off. Another round given away to Team Strike, and Strike again very quick with their side take at the bomb plant. And of course, very proactive in shutting down the free take as well.
Yeah, for Fate, now that they lose out of 2 rounds back to back, this is where they lose the momentum as well, or at least that's what we think. And it's going to be tough to find that recovery. Team Strike exactly what they needed. Team Strike is actually able to take the battles. They're able to find the openers too. Now for Team Fate, even if they do find the opener, they're somehow choking up the duels. And this is exactly what I'm speaking of. Rain, what a return that was, as he gets shut down instantly by Delu, but even Delu gets instantly knocked back by Lament. And this is going to be the site control the players of Team Strike were looking for. The site's already back in their hands, and here comes the plant.
Completely cleaning out the site before they get the plant in. I think this is a brilliant strategy, and of course their firepower actually helping them execute this strategy as well. Vibe, look at him. He's just hiding next to the plant itself, not really allowing an opportunity. What a shot! Poseidon! That is scary, man. Vibes is going to be shut down, but sets his teammates up for a trade. 3-2-1. I don't think Fate is going to get another round in the bag.
Well, Johnny, you don't really know what to say at this point, right? 3 rounds back-to-back from Team Strike, and once again starting to run away with the lead. This is exactly what happened in the hard point, too. Off the rip, Team Fate was able to do decent, but then, as soon as Team Strike found that momentum, they started to run away with it. And now it feels like the history is starting to repeat itself. Fate, it's a big panic now starting to set in, but amongst the players, as Team Strike, they're constantly able to win those duels, and that's something that's playing in a big-time favor for them. And here comes another duel on the board, and what just happened? Lament somehow outgunned Rain over there. And Fate, they're not able to win the duels that they're supposed to. These are easy duels that they're losing.
I mean, then this could have been a clean round, but Levi gets shut down. And Lament, that was impressive, just slides right in his face. And luckily for the player in his face, I think it was Delu who ADS'd as well. So just loses vision, loses track. Lament, look at him. Was running out into the open with a melee, but finally realized, oh, this man is not on my team. 4-1 though, Strike. I think Fate is just lost now, Necro. Small little errors, no communication between the two sides. Both of the players inside of that container just completely shut down by a single man and did not have an answer for him as well.
Johnny, this is the time where Team Fate needs to do something. If they lose out in this round as well, we already know what the course is going to be. A 2-0 from the side of Team Strike, and it's something none of us saw coming. Team Fate choking things up big time. And here we go. Just look at Strike. I'm just loving the trade potential from this team. It's insane. Every single time they've got each other's back, even if one of the men gets taken down, you would instantly see the cavalry arrive. And Raid, he also delivers that final blow. And that's going to be 5-1 as we switch the sides. And now it's going to be the opposite things happening. Team Strike on the defense and Fate on the attack. And I'm pretty sure on the defense as well. Team Strike, they're going to take it up close and personal.
Well, let's see. Strike on defense, as you mentioned, they are going to be a little bit more proactive, and look at them moving on the map. They're getting very aggressive towards A. They know, and they have a lot of information that the players of Fate are going to be moving towards B, and not just that, they find those two early frags as well. The advantage clearly in the favor of Strike. And what was that whiff? Nat, he was not supposed to survive over there, and yet finds the frag. And well, even before I finish my sentence, the round is over. Fate, another loss on the board. Strike, one round away from closing out Search and Destroy, and also this series.
I think we know what Fate holds for Fate, Johnny.
Yeah.
It is done. 7-1 pretty much is going to be the scoreline. At least that's what it looks like. If we do see a reverse sweep, though, now that would be a comeback and a half. Something that would be written down in the history, but we're asking for too much here. Delu is able to find the first opener, so maybe that's a good thing. That can be a bit of that pressure subsider, but Delu is able to find the second one too, and that's hits down. But Levi is able to reply back on a great note. It's 3-3, or actually 3-4. Fate, they've got the man advantage, so that's a great thing. And now Vibes is still holding that angle with the sniper. He wins the first shot. He wants to go for the quick scope as well. And what am I watching? Now miss so many shots that now Levi instantly swings back to action. And even Levi is able to find some insane amount of value. And Vibes is there with the closure. What just happened there? Now could have been the one to equalize things, but unfortunately, he whiffed big time.
Yeah, he whiffed and got picked off by a pistol, man. That has to be brutal. That is just heartbreaking, morale breaking. But, I mean, no point in having any morale. You're not going to be moving any further. Fate eliminated from the Snapdragon Pro Series, and Strike brilliantly done. I mean, Search and Destroy, they just dominated that map.
They did. For Strike, I generally thought this might just be a pretty close matchup, but no, instead, Fate just proven unparalleled by Strike.
Yeah.
Off the rip, especially even hard point started, I thought that, okay, Fate, hold on. We might just have a big surprise on our hands. But then later on, it was Team Strike running away with the lead. You move on towards Search and Destroy, the same thing happened. First round was won by Fate, but then later on, it's like the opponents, they had something else in their minds. As we move on towards the highlights, it's just going to be the players of their opponents, which is going to be them just dominating through.
Well, it was very impressive. Completely one-sided, but very impressive from the side of Strike. I had a little bit more hope from the side of Fate for Search and Destroy, but I think apart from that first round, Strike, as soon as they realized, like, all right, guys, why are we playing slow? We know we have better firepower than them. Our players are a little bit better. Let's just run them over. And they just did. I mean, it was very impressive with how the later rounds went.
Indeed, man. For Team Strike, just that domination that we've been seeing, the aggression that they showcased in Search and Destroy. For a moment, it felt like I was not even watching Search and Destroy. I felt like I was watching Control. That's how fast and quick Team Strike was making it look. Yeah, a few rounds, they were quite slow, but still, man, it's Strike just doing Strike things. F8, they started things off on quite an aggressive note in the last round. They were looking pretty confident in that last round itself, but it was once again Strike hitting them back pretty hard as Levi was able to find that clutcher.
And it was a very, very swift game as well. But let's see, I think again, Levi very impressive. In this last round, it was Vibe and this play, the pistol kill that came in, that surprised me the most. That should not have happened anyway, but now, I don't know, I think even he panicked, just backed off, tried to duck into a corner, and over there as well. I think not really allowed even a second to breathe. But here we have it, the scorecard over here. Levi, very impressive. Lament, quite consistent for his team. Rain as well, very impressive vibe on that sniper. Did a brilliant job shutting down the players of Fate in the first half, and of course securing those early frags in the second.
You really got to give it to Vibes, man.
Yeah.
With the way this guy was playing, it felt like he knew that he's going to own the entirety of Fate. Off the rip, he was looking so confident on that sniper. He was actually going up to the faces of the opponents and hitting those quick scopes over and over again. And then there was Levi in the back lines too. He was still playing with the sniper. It was a double sniper setup, and it worked out wonders for Team Strike.
It worked out very well for them. But it is going to be interesting to see how the last game of the day is going to turn out as well. I mean, this one is over. Strike, I think they are going to have to get ready and prepare themselves for NVT next. I think that's going to be the team they face once they move to the next round of the lower bracket, which is going to be tomorrow. In fact, I believe that is when that match is going to take place.
Yeah.
But along with that, Dope versus MonarchX, that's going to be the last game of the day. I'm very excited to see how that one also turns out.
And yeah, speaking of Dope as well, it is quite a name that we have heard for a long time too, right? For Dope, now their lineup is supposed to be pretty stacked on paper. You've got Dope himself, who used to be a part of I2K in the past, and then he was also a part of Revenant, and now considering he's over here inside of this lineup, Team Dope itself, he's created his own lineup. I really want to see how this entire roster performs.
Well, let's see. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they perform. But before that, the updated brackets. And yes, Strike against NVT. That is the match they have to prepare for tomorrow. And now it's just time for Galaxia to wait who they face. Either they face Team Dope or they face MonarchX tomorrow in the lower bracket. Again, we were supposed to see 8 teams move forward. We saw 4 teams move from the upper bracket. The matches tomorrow will decide which 4 teams from the lower bracket actually get to move forward to the challenge season. And of course, the 2 invited teams will join them there. Almost coming to an end of our journey in the Open Finals today. It's the second last day number 2 as well. One last match to go. Dope against MonarchX. Necro, your prediction? I mean, before we head towards that matchup, what is your prediction?
Look, man, considering you don't really have a lot of information on MonarchX, I gotta go with Dope, because in Dope, you've got Dope himself, who used to be part of Revenant in the past, and then you've also got Virus, who used to be part of I2K as well. So these 2 players, they're just giving me the semblance of hope that maybe Dope will dominate.
Yeah, just a slight bit of experience can sometimes be a big difference maker between the 2 sides. And for MonarchX as well, I mean, considering you are in the lower bracket, nothing to lose, just go at it with everything that you have. You never know. Sometimes you end up coming out on top and still surviving into this tournament. But again, and both the teams facing elimination could be their last game or could be the start of one of the most amazing comebacks we get to witness in this Snapdragon Pro Series. I can't wait to see what it's going to be.
Hey, we all are a big fan of the upsets, right? We all are a big fan of those comeback stories as well, the Cinderella runs that we talk about.
Yeah.
But are we going to see that happen in the upcoming matchup? Well, we're going to leave it on the other side of this break. So for now, it's time for us to toss to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
been killing it since tip-off. Come with it or stay home, the people gon' feel ripped off. It's only major leaguers in the office. If you giving half of an effort around the rest of us, you'll make it awkward. I'm about that action, not the one you talk with. You better hope I'm not the one your coach gon' have you out here really guarding. It took a lot for me to get here, but I have arrived. I really made it, and the haters be looking surprised. Been down before, but now I'm better than I've ever been. Through all adversity, I solve it right now. And whatever the problem, we'll solve them. Make it through together, it'll be all love, it's all good. Yeah. Okay. They say pressure makes diamonds. That's what I align with, cause the journey I've been climbing is riddled with perfect timing. I'm in a different mode when I've been trying to get it. To even get a chance to compete is a form of winning. I mean, what's the point of playing if we ain't striving for greatness? I feel a sense of pride with every play that I'm making. To the top of the world when I came from the basement. Boy, I'm the one and not the two, so don't get it mistaken.
Think that it's not right. Told you that I'm not that type. Didn't mean to get you so excited. Tried to tell you not to fall in love. Why you always hit me uninvited? Was hoping you would get the picture. I've had enough. Now it's time for me to turn around. Thought you knew what this was. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have fell for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back the one heart. Just when I had enough of us. I'm the babe, I'm on my own. It's in the face, just let it go. Told you that I'm not that type. Double the weights and ride. Begging for one more chance. Yeah, know you got carried away. You know you didn't mean to say it. Even this one greatness, faces, stay in your place. I was stuck in the place, then you got in the way. All the love that we made, got me stuck in your brain. Got no time to stay here and say goodbye. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have fell for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back the one heart. Call it a savage love. Just till I had enough of us.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Let the weak melt away! Killing spree!
Got easy. Taking the kill back. Run time, baby.
Looks like the players are ready. Here we go!
Welcome back after that short break, and now it's time to move on to the last matchup of the day, Johnny. Team Dope versus Monarch. And now for Team Dope, I generally think so. They might just have the upper edge, considering they've got a little bit of that experience underneath the belt.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out. And as you mentioned, Team Dope, some experience under their belt. I think same goes for MonarchX Esports as well. But again, facing off in a new season against each other for the first time, things are going to get extremely interesting. And with how the rest of the day has turned out, this match as well could be completely one-sided. You never know.
It could be Team Dope just running away with the lead, right? Considering they've got a lot of that experience. And both the players that are currently playing underneath this banner, right? They have been performing so well in the past as well. But enough talks about Dope. Let's move on towards MonarchX Esports. You've got Zinc, Supreme, Tronzy as well inside of this entire roster. You've also got Washed Carito and Roach. Now, for MonarchX Esports, being the newer faces on the block, there's always going to be a lot of those mental aspects, those jitters that they're going to be facing off. And that's where the advantage is now a little bit stacked on the favor of Team Dope, because these two experienced players, they can lead the team in much more of a better manner.
Exactly, but they still have to be extremely careful and cautious with how things turn out. But let's have a look at the roster for Team Dope. We have Dope, Antivirus, Fallen, Warlord, and WeG inside of this team. And again, it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out. As you mentioned, Dope coming in from a big team. You have Antivirus as well. We have seen him in the past. It's going to be interesting to see what this team can actually pull off today.
Exactly, man. I mean, especially Warlord and Luigi, right? If you're trying to speak about these two players, they're quite the newer additions to the entire lineup. So let's see how Dope is going to be performing, right? Led by the two experienced guys. One thing is for sure, the experience, it might just shine through against Monarch Esports. But that's what we exactly say, right? Being the newcomers as well can give you a little bit of that edge, considering the opponents do not really have enough information what they're exactly facing off against.
Well, let's see. I mean, it is going to be interesting. And, of course, one big thing that can be a big difference maker right now within this series, it's going to be the veto. What are the maps that are going to be picked by these teams? And I think it's time for us to have a look at the veto itself. All right, Summit once again. Don't know why I expected anything else. Firing Rage, it's going to be there for Search and Destroy.
Default.
And Raid for Control. I think they just copy-pasted the map veto from the previous map, from the previous series.
At least we saw a different map on the hard point, right?
Yeah.
So this time around, we're seeing Summit. It is pretty much like the default picks for these two teams. And for Team Dope, once again, this is going to be quite the comfort pick as well. Facing the opponents off in Summit 2, it's not going to be something that's going to be too challenging for them. So I would love to see how Summit's going to be the one to kick things off, because we know whichever team, they're going to have the momentum off the rip in their hands. There's a high chance they're pretty much going to run away with the entire lead.
Exactly, but let's see how things are going to turn out. I think fairly an even matchup, considering these are default maps as well. Everyone has practiced them enough. But again, Team Dope I'm expecting them to be a little bit more refined on this. But hey, to kick things off, Hardpoint, and of course, as we mentioned, the good old Summit.
Here we go. Summit's going to be booting up on the screen soon, Johnny. And now knowing the fact that inside a Summit, usually the set plays are something that matter a lot. You are going to find a lot of those players holding the corners, just waiting for you to walk inside of the warehouses as the hard point pops up. And you're of course going to see this proactive bunch as well, which would try to capitalize the hard point before it even pops up. So that's something that's that the players need to deal with, and especially checking your corners are something that can matter a lot on this map specifically.
Well, let's see though how things are going to turn out, and of course how or which team actually walks away with the momentum in the early stages of this game as well. But let's see. I mean, Dope looking a little bit stronger on paper. We have MonarchX. Again, the wild card could be the dark horses of this series as well. But again, as we talk about Summit, that first hard point, that momentum builder is what these teams are going to be focused on right now.
We all would love to see an upset, right? We all would love to see a complete new team dominate through and just come up with a complete Cinderella run and surprise all of us. We all love to be shocked. We all love to see an underdog story, but are we going to see that today as well? That's the real question. Last time when we saw the games happen, even yesterday, time to pound, they were defeated by their opponents. So you can't say that underdog. They proved themselves and moved on forward from the upper brackets itself.
But again, as you talked about the underdog story, the Cinderella run, those are quite rare. That's what makes them special. You can't really expect them again and again every single day. And again, yesterday, time to pound, a tough loss for them, but still, let's see how this one is going to turn out. I think MonarchX, that matchup should be their inspiration right now to take on the players of Team Dope and to beat them down. But still waiting for Summit to begin, still waiting for this first mode to commence between these two sides. And again, it's going to be an interesting one. Doesn't really matter which with how it begins. I think the ending is going to be, I'm expecting a close game between the two sides.
Yeah, I would love to see a close game as well, because we have seen a lot of those one-sided affairs too, right? Today, the match 1, it was quite a close game. The match 2 just did not even happen, so we skipped on towards the match number 3. And even match 3, Team Strike just dominated through. So this time around, I would love to see a close matchup. But Johnny, let's be honest. It feels like it is pretty much going to be one-sided affair as well. If Team Dope, they play the same way they used to play in the past, if they do find that past glory, then one thing is for sure, man. They might just run away with the lead, and Monarch will be surprised.
See, I agree with you on that. I mean, the possibility is always going to be there for us to witness an upset. But again, those are quite rare. And again, with the longer it takes for this match to begin, I think MonarchX, they are getting eager to try and step into the action, to try and fight against the side of Team Dope. And again, it is going to be interesting to see what exactly the end result is going to be like. And I believe it is finally time for these two teams to step on the map and to go up against each other. And here we go. All right, here we go. It begins.
Exactly. The game boots up on the screen. It is going to be Monarch facing off against Team Dope. And for Team Dope, the only factor is going to be the experience they have on the banner. And here we go. Off the rip, it's going to be a Virus finding a 2-piece for himself. And that 2-piece is going to mean so much, considering towards the point when you're going to stop the opponents making it through on the hard point itself. That's going to mean a lot. As soon as you get the control in the hands, that's where Team Dope, they will instantly start a runaway with the lead. And that's what is exactly happening, Johnny.
Well, they are very impressive in the start to kick things off, but as expected, Team Dope in control, and well, there it is. PC finds the important frag, VG chiming in, and all of a sudden MonarchX, they are struggling to fight for any control in this first hardpoint. VG has a lot of support from his teammates, and the players of MonarchX just running in completely blind. That's not how it's going to work out for them. Supreme finds a big frag, but still struggling to survive for even a single second on that hardpoint.
It's not looking too good for them, Johnny, I'm not gonna lie. For MonarchX, just stuck on those 10 points, while Team Dope, they're constantly getting that points flow as well. The only good friend is gonna be the upcoming hard point that's gonna pop up. But it feels like Team Dope, they've already realized the same thing as well, and Team Dope's on the move as well. For Team Dope, the only way you can try and stop them is during the rotations itself, and maybe go for the hard point control early on. Hunter Killer Drone was out as well, but nothing found with that, as Ashavirus does find Supreme eventually.
Well, let's see. 41-30, MonarchX opportunity still there for them to actually react and catch up to Team Dope in the early stages. But hey, those score streaks are coming in, and they are just making it more difficult for the side of Team MonarchX to react. Zinx whips that spray and Fallen. He's going to make sure that Zinx hits the floor. Fallen, another one in the front of him. He's going to wait and try and see if he can find that frag for his team. But again, it's 65-13. The counter for Team Dope, it just keeps going up and up.
Yeah, Johnny, for Team Dope, it's looking way too easy. Even the shotguns are able to find so much value. Dope himself with this R9 that he's got. He's able to find so many kills back to back. If the players of Dope are not being spotted and taken down eventually, this is where Dope might just run away with the humongous lead that they've already garnered. But even Monarch, hold on. The point was now taken down to 14, but for Monarch, still the difference is way too big. As now they're looking forward to breach in the upcoming hard point as well, but unfortunately, Monarch is not able to clear the angles properly. Even though Sparrow is able to find some decent amount of value, even Antivirus is able to get so much done with the Purifier.
Well, it is going to be interesting. Tronzy, though, finds at least tries to find one frag for his team, and all of a sudden, MonarchX, they are starting to rack up those kills, but Dope, they already have a big advantage to work with, and going for this hard point, this is going to be a difficult job. Zings catches one off guard, but instantly goes down to that Sparrow coming in from Dope in peace himself.
Oh my God.
And he's going to go big, looking for the second, looking for the third, gets shut down, but now we are seeing the struggle. Dope, they have a 100-point lead in this game already, and I don't think this team is going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, for Monarch, it feels like the lead is lost and even the game is lost. That's what the entire indication seems like. But you never know. Maybe Monarch, they can instantly start a hit back to place a Team Dope, and that can be the major table turner we all are waiting for. 21 points on the board for Monarch and Team Dope. They've got 128. Yeah, at this point in time, the lead is getting way too humongous. And if the players of Monarch do want to make a comeback happen, right now is going to be the time where they start a hit back. If this time they miss, it's done for. Team Dope is pretty much going to run away with the lead. And also this map on the hard point itself. Fnatic up close and personal from Roach, as he's constantly making that approach towards this warehouse. And as soon as the players of Team Dope, they get the control of this warehouse in their hands, it's going to be tough for Monarch to breach through.
Yeah, especially with that EMP going off, he couldn't do much. But look at this, the War Machine on to fall, and he's going to shut down them. Shut down the players from MonarchX in bundles to multiple players all together. But look at this, Supreme, he's moving in with the Time 19. Instantly shut down. I don't even see the players of MonarchX alive for more than a second. You see them and they instantly vanish. 167 to 21. MonarchX, this is just a beatdown that's happening to them.
I mean, you talk about that and just look at the kill feed. MonarchX is barely visible. I mean, they are visible, but on the receiving side of things, and that's not a good thing for MonarchX. They're not even able to win the duels that they're taking against the players of Team Dope, and that's where Team Dope, they're constantly able to get the advantage on the hard points as well. If you're not able to win the duel, how are you supposed to get the control of the hard point in your hands? And that's something MonarchX needs to realize.
Yeah.
In general, the firepower as well, it seems a little bit lacking, and for Team Dope, everything seems on point.
Exactly, I mean, Team Dope, they're getting those kills again and again, and MonarchX struggling even in securing those kills, so they aren't able to survive, they aren't able to stay alive, and hence, no control of the hard point. 199, 200 to 25. This is just way too big, and it's going to be close to a 200-point advantage right now, Team Dope. This is just one-sided domination. Dope in peace. He's going to look for the second. His teammates show up. Zing still surviving for a few extra seconds. Doesn't seem to matter. Team Dope once again in control. 20 seconds remain for this hard point. I don't think they're going to be able to close out the game on this hard point, maybe on the next one, but they have to move in for the control of that one. Even before the players of MonarchX, they need to end this game as quickly as possible.
Yeah, one thing is for sure, though, Johnny, the experience is making a big difference. And now the Purifier, once again, in the hands of Antivirus, is looking to purify a few more souls. This man is looking at unstoppable. Antivirus. He's been able to get so many kills for his team. Even Dope with that shotgun, dude. He's been unstoppable. Dope is able to find so much value, too, on the point. This man is just sliding through in the opponent's faces, and the opponents, they've got no reply to that. And you've also got the equalizers being pulled out by Warlord, and even he's able to get so much done. Antivirus too. I mean, in general for Team Dope, it's like every single player is just feeling the groove right now.
Well, let's see though. I mean, it is going to be interesting. 250 to 27, just a complete one-sided beatdown. You call it a thrashing, but that has to be heartbreaking as well, man. I don't know how you bounce back from this if you're MonarchX Esports. And for Team Dope, this is what you call a confidence booster. This will give them such an amazing position to play from once they move on to search and destroy. And that too, on to firing range. I mean, they are going to be in their comfort zone.
I would love to be optimistic here, Johnny, but with that beatdown that we saw on Hardpoint, it's really tough for me to be optimistic, especially with what Team Dope just pulled off against Monarch. And now for Monarch, even they move on towards the firing range map. We know it's quite the OG map as well, and that's where the OGs, they might just prevail.
Yeah, I think they are going to prevail indeed. With what we saw, I think it's going to be what we witnessed from Team Strike itself. I think MonarchX can walk away with one round, but after that, it's going to be the
Maybe
raw.
Not even one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be hopeful they walk away with one at least. It's search and destroy somehow. Even if all of you just pile onto the opposing team, and they are on defense, you're on attack, you can steal one round. I think we have to give them at least one round, Necro.
I mean, with how the game was, Johnny, it felt like the players of Monarch, they had blindfolds on their eyes. And they were not even able to spot the players of Team Dope. They were blindly just walking inside of the sites. The hard point was being contested by the players of Team Dope. They were playing with a proper set fire too, and this is what I'm exactly talking about. Look at Supreme. The man did not even check his corner before sliding inside of that door.
Yeah, they just kept going in and just kept dying to the side of Team Dope. But Dope also took full advantage of that. But as I was saying, I think Dope should be able to strike down and shut down the side of MonarchX completely onto Search and Destroy as well. But again, Search and Destroy, things can get very complicated. If Dope gets a little overconfident, they start lacking, then maybe they can take a loss. That's the only way they lose, overconfidence.
You keep talking about the highlights. Now, usually you're supposed to see a mix of both of the two teams.
Yeah.
But over here, all I'm seeing is Team Dope, man. Dope popping off with a shotgun. Then he also had his teammate Virus doing so much with the operator skills that he was able to pull off this purifier play. It was insane. And then later on, too, Virus did not stop over there. Even he was Warlord and Luigi with the Annihilator. And Warlord with the Equalizer was able to find a lot of value, too. In general, for Team Dope, as we know, they have shred through the opponents. They have dominated, stomped them, call it whatever you want to call, but the scoreline says it all.
Yeah, I mean, the best performing player from the side of MonarchX with just 13 kills. That is not going to cut it in any mode. So, again, a big step up needed from MonarchX if they want to stay alive in this tournament. Otherwise, their dreams are going to come to a crashing end. And, of course, for Dope, I think this leaves a lot of hope for the next round in the lower bracket, their match tomorrow. It is not going to be an easy one, but they need to play like just they did right now. That's the only way they move through. But it is, I mean, now I'm excited for tomorrow, man. All of these teams are looking extremely solid. Strike, they looked amazing. Dope looked amazing. Unfortunately, we did not get to see an opportunity to see SLN play, but I'm pretty sure they are going to be equally amazing.
I mean, the only reason why Johnny's talking about tomorrow's day is because he's pretty much given hope in Monarch at this point.
Yeah,
he knows Dope is going to move on forward. There's no point in talking about the upcoming Search and Destroy. There's a high chance it's Team Dope once again just shredding through the opponents. But Johnny, we still have to Search and Destroy to go. And what do you know? Maybe a reverse sweep just to be a little bit more hopeful on the side of Monarch.
Yeah, maybe if we shut down the internet for Team Dope.
Some technical glitches happening with Team Dope, and maybe Monarch can have a big chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, for Team Monarch, it just blows to face off against the experienced bunch like that, especially Dope himself with the shotgun. This man was able to pop off on all the different margins. Then you also had Virus doing so much. Even Luigi was able to get so much value on the board. Yeah, it just blows to be against Team Dope.
Well, it definitely does, and it is going to be interesting to see what MonarchX does actually on the Search and Destroy. And of course, for Dope, I think I would love to see where they start this game, which side, in fact, are they going to start an attack, are they going to start a defense? Because I think for them right now, they're just going to prefer to keep on attacking. Put the pressure on MonarchX as quickly as possible and just shut them down very early. Do not leave any sign of hope alive.
And here we go, Johnny. Search and Destroy is now going to be booting up on the screen as we step inside a firing range. This is going to be an interesting watch. Okay, hold on, Kirito. He was able to find a kill through that smoke, and that might just be a big opener, too, that Monarch is looking for.
Oh!
And a second one, too. What about watching Kirito? This man, oh, he's now showcasing the players of Team Dope, what he's capable of. Maybe he would have pulled off the same plays in the previous game as well, and things could have been much more on their side.
Yeah, things could have been different, but still a 3 versus 4 situation. There's still an opportunity. Zinx Warlord is going to be shut down, but Luigi is just waiting right next to that plant. It's a 2 versus 4. And as they move in, one more frag secured. The Tunrite needs to go big, but no. Luigi is going to be shut down as well. Last man left alive. He's going to be picked off. And finally, look at that, Necro. They have the opening round in the back secured. MonarchX now finally starting to step up.
Yeah, Johnny, but the main problem for Monarch in this round as well was that, yes, they got the early advantage, but still later on you saw the players are not exactly checking the corners. And that's where Team Dope almost captured the lead that the players of Monarch had in that previous round. So Monarch, they really need to watch out on their angles.
They have to be extremely careful, but this time it's going to be Dope who kick things off. That sniper, one sniper at least out of play, the other one on Krito, still a big threat. Although the bomb being planted on towards that A site. And look at the pinch coming in from the Rage. Get shut down. Fallen finds Supreme. Zinx finds Fallen. The trade comes in. And the players of MonarchX, they were about to move in. They almost had control of the site. Instant shutdown though. Now it's down to this man, the miracle worker, Krito. He was the reason for their win in the previous round. But this one, can he survive it?
Good question, Johnny. And maybe no is going to be the answer. This time around, Krito was not able to get anything done. In the previous round, the only reason why Monarch won was because Krito was able to find the early 2-piece, and that's where Team Dope was crippled. Team Dope did not exactly know how to pull off the comeback in that round. But as soon as Krito was not able to find any value in the upcoming round, Team Dope, once again, they capitalized that lead.
Well, let's see. They are going to look to push themselves forward once again. The numbers equalized between the two sides, 4 versus 4. And Team Dope, they are not even looking towards that B side, they just want A. Again, the bomb planted and the pressure on the players of MonarchX, but Tronzy with that frag relieves some of it, gives his team the man advantage to work with. Slowly and steadily moving towards the side. They know there's a man hiding inside of this container. They need to clear that position out, but Warlord with an important kill. And now the defuse coming in. The defuse needs to be shut down. And they get it! The defuse, they stick through. 2-1 Monarchs, what a steal!
What am I even watching? Team Dope. This is just overconfidence, Johnny. There's no way Team Dope is choking this way. The smoke came through. The man went for the defuse as well. Came out on top with that ninja defuse. That's crazy if you think about it. MonarchX Esports. Now this is where they're going to start facing real troubles. And this is where the players of Team Dope are going to tie things up even more, because they realize they have faced a bit of that embarrassment in the previous round, and they do not want to face it once again.
Let's see. 4 versus 5, MonarchX. Again, a do-or-die moment for them. Oh, too close. Just sneaks underneath that scope and finds an important frag. Krito shut down. Tronzy, though, gets a trade. The numbers advantage still in the favor of Team Dope. It gets taken away. Bomb planted. Warlord needs to be careful. He needs to try and pinch the players of MonarchX as quickly as possible. 30 seconds left for MonarchX to move in and go for the defuse.
Here comes the push, Johnny, from Supreme, but what a drop shot that was from Fallen. With the PKM in his hands, and now Fallen is still looking to light things up even more. He does exactly know where the opponents have placed his wall up close and personal. It's Fallen to come out on top as he shuts down Tronzy. And still from that same angle, it's going to be another man approaching. And Roach shuts down Fallen as well. For Team Dope, that's not a great news. Roach is going for the stick onto the defuse. Let's see if he's going to find that through, and the answer is going to be no. This time, Luigi says no.
Well, let's see. 2-2. Dope again bring themselves back into this match. And again, I think it is going to be this attacking side where Dope, they need to capitalize. Because with how Krito and Tronzy have started to step things up, I think on defense, things are just going to get a little bit more complicated. But let's see. Oh, that's a close angle. Gets checked. This time moving towards the B side, but Krito finds the opener. He's going to look for the second. Gets shut down instantly. And they have the side control this time, taking the advantage and pressing it even further.
All I can say, it's looking too easy for Dope at this point. For Team Dope, yeah, the previous round was something that set the momentum, and now look at Team Dope. They're looking so confident. The man's got the LMG in his hands, PKM. And he's now going to be engaging against Supreme anytime soon. Here comes the shot. The man's taken down way too low, scratched up and bruised up. But even Tronzy gets spotted. A few shots missed from Tronzy, and that could have been the lifesaver. But unfortunately, the connections, they're missed out.
Last man left alive, Supreme. 1 versus 2, and look at Weezy. He's just walking around with that automatic pistol. They don't even want to wait for him to come towards them. They are just looking to hunt him down. And there it is. 3-2. Dope. They get the shutdown. Nicely done as well. I think the danger man, as soon as Krito goes down, the round swings in the favor of Team Dope, and even they realize that right now.
Yeah, they indeed do. For Team Dope, getting 3 rounds on the board, snatching that lead away from Monarch, establishing the comeback inside of Search and Destroy. But even Supreme, he says that I'm not going to be far behind too. Fallen takes it up close and personal. This time, though, it will be Roach to come out on top. Inside of the site, it's still now vacant. There is Roach. This one single man is starting to make things really dicey for the side of Team Dope. But eventually, even Roach gets snuffed out. And even Luigi from the back lines is now starting to do some serious amount of damage.
Well, let's see. Kronzi, 1 versus 3. The bomb going down. He lobs out a nade to try and get that pick, and he does, but instantly makes the mistake of moving forward, gets shut down, and it's going to be 4-2. Now the side switch. Dope, they're going to be on defense. Monarch, they're going to have to switch things up on attack, but as I said, Krito and Kronzi, they've been very impressive in this search and destroy, so it's going to be down to them. Can they find the opportunity for their team, the openers, and help them secure a few extra rounds? 4-2. Monarch still in this fight, I have to say.
Oh, well, maybe not anymore as Zinx gets shut down. And even once again, the boys are ready. They've already got the set of plays. They know each other's places too. They're holding the crossfires, and now, for some reason, it seems like for Monarch to get the side back in their hands, it's going to be much more tougher. This time, Team Dope is playing it pretty disciplined, I'm not going to lie.
Well, they are a little disciplined this time. Just holding on. They realize on defense they need to find the early advantage. Oh, spotted out and shut down. Warlord with an important frag, but Krito with a trade onto Ouija. Now it's down to Krito. He gets picked off, and Antivirus, he backs up. This is very impressive. 4-2. Again, the numbers advantage in their favor. Team Dope looking to shut things down as quickly as possible. Tronzi, 1 more man remaining, gets picked off. Last man left alive from the side of MonarchX, and he gets picked off as well. 5-2. I think, Necro, it's time for us to head towards the closer. Could be the last 2 rounds of the series.
Yeah, Johnny, and this is where the real problems are now going to start to hit the deck for Monarch, because they will be on the attack. And to breach through the defense of Team Dope, especially when you're not even able to win the duels, I'm not sure how Monarch can make it happen. The only way they can make it happen is maybe set the sniper up for success. But Kirito was able to find Antivirus, and even Dope gets shut down eventually. Kirito once again being the playmaker, but here comes the equalizer for Warlord and Luigi. And as you say so, it's even Fallen stepping inside of the action.
Well, but let's see. 2 versus 3. It's an advantage, not a big one. Monarch, they can still clutch it out. Although, getting towards that side, it's going to be big, and especially with that bomb drop, I think, just making things a little bit tougher. The players of Team Dope, they have that bomb surrounded. Kronzi and Krito, 2 snipers remaining. Oh, and Warlord, I think his spidey senses are starting to tingle. He realizes that mid is where the play might be made from. Fallen.
Slow and steady approach. And here we go. Finally, the silence is now broken. Kronzi with that kill. And watched Kirito. That's going to blow. That could have been a freebie as well. But unfortunately, Kirito was not able to capitalize in time. But still, you can't take it away from this man. Kirito has been the main playmaker inside of Search and Destroy for Team Monarch. He's the only reason why Monarch was able to find those 2 rounds. Or maybe you can't say the first round, because the second round was pretty much with a ninja defuse.
Let's see, 1 versus 2. They're running out of time right now, and Warlord, he has to be extremely cautious with how he moves now. He realizes the plant towards B. He can move in 1 versus 2. Still a clutchable position, but it's not going to be an easy one. Goes through mid. 28 seconds left. Right, gets the Fennec.
For some reason.
Just wanted to change the loadout. He wanted both the weapons, the sniper for that 1-shot, 1-kill potential, and the Fennec, because he knows he will have to instantly switch and try to find those frags, but he has wasted too much time now. No time left. Look at this. Finds the first frag, but 4 seconds remaining. Can't really do anything after this. It's over. 5-3. MonarchX. They somehow managed to stay alive in this game.
I'm not even sure he wrapped all the way in the back lines to get his hands on the better weaponry, but still, I'm not even sure what just happened there. Team Dope, there could have been a chance that they could have came out on top, but a lot of that time was wasted. That 1v2 could have actually came through. It's quite unfortunate that it just happened, but 5-3 is going to be the scoreline for now for Team Dope. They're starting to choke a little bit of those angles, and that's not really looking too nice on Team Dope's side. And here comes the first engagement. That's going to be Roach following it up in a pretty good fashion as the first man gets struck down, and now Tronzy as well is looking to just back away from this entire aspect. And this is where a little bit of that fake might just catch the players of Team Dope off guard.
Again, the danger man, Tronzy and Credo, they need to be taken care of. As long as these two players are shut down, Team Dope, they will be very comfortable inside of this game. 4 versus 5, looking to slow things down. The trade comes in as Weezy finds an important frag for his team.
Oh,
and the second as well. Both the individuals taken off the board, and things now not looking good for the side of MonarchX. Look at this. Instantly the round swings in the favor of Team Dope, and one after the other, MonarchX, they're falling left, right, and center.
Yeah, the pieces on the side, they just keep falling down, and for Team Dope, exactly what they were looking for. One more round to go as Team Dope, they might just seal the deal inside of the series in a 2-0 fashion. If that does happen, today's day has been pretty one-sided, man. Team Strike in the second matchup. Now Team Dope over here in the third one. Quite a quick day, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, for Team Dope, still one more round is needed. And that's where Kirito is going to be a big spanner in the works for them. As Team Dope still struggling to find something. But that's where Antivirus comes up with a glimmer of hope on the Supreme.
Oh, this is going to be big. 2 players down, 3 versus 4. They have the advantage, but Tronzy now, look at the amount of pressure that's being put upon him. 3 players right in his face. Tronzy still somehow surviving. Warlord shuts him down. Dope, he gets raided out. And now it's down to Credo. He gets picked off 7-3. There it is, the closer coming in from Team Dope. MonarchX, they have to just bite the dust now. Eliminated from the game and the series and the Snapdragon Pro Series as well. 2-0, a quick 2-0 coming in from Team Dope. Although it was an intense search and destroy, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Tronzy and Kirito, they played very well in this series.
I mean, genuinely speaking, I did not even think Monarch would be able to get those 3 rounds in their hands. I'm just surprised the fact that they actually did, because the second one came through with a complete ninja defuse. The first one was all by the heroics of Kirito, and even the third one, with the way Kirito was playing, all thanks to him, man.
Yeah, I mean, 2 players. I'm not just going to give all the credit to Kirito alone, because Tronzy, I think he had equal number of frags inside of this game. And these 2 snipers, I think having those double snipers always helps, especially with how strong the LW3 is inside of this game right now. And I think both of them being able to connect their shots was what was helping the side of MonarchX secure those rounds. But then again, I mean, we saw what happens. As soon as these 2 individuals get picked off, MonarchX, I think they just panic and lose.
Yeah, for MonarchX, it is all about the experience lacking, and you clearly saw it as well inside of the plays, too. They did not really have a proper set plays. The communication, the team synergy, if you try and speak about it, it's like the players of MonarchX. They were trying to showcase the team synergy by playing together, but still, man, it's all about the set plays, and that's where MonarchX was failing.
Yeah, look at this. And again, I mean, talk about the set plays, and I think even Dope, to be honest, did not have any set plays. I think their entire strategy was let them come, we are going to kill them, and that's how we win.
Yeah, for Team Dope, it makes a lot of sense as well to take that approach, right? Because they're much more confident. And Team Dope, somewhere down line in the back of their head as well, they knew that they're going to win the game. So that's why Team Dope, they were not exactly playing with the fullest potential in this S&D. But for the side of MonarchX, they needed the team communication and synergy on point. The set plays that they were trying to execute, they failed.
Well, let's see. I mean, what the journey for Team Dope tomorrow is going to be like, though. I think tomorrow is when there's going to be a real test for them. They go up against big dogs and try to prove that they have what it takes to survive and move forward in the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Exactly, Johnny. Let's move on and look at the stats of the previous game, because that's going to be something that will be revealing a little bit more of that stuff. One thing is for sure Dope, considering they dominated through, so I'm expecting the stats as well to favor them, and that's exactly what is happening, because Tronzy being at the top, just getting 9 finishes, and then you move on towards Antivirus, still getting 11 eliminations in his hand, so that's big, man.
Yeah, that was big. It was very impressive. VG as well. I think he was responsible for a few of those clutch rounds as well, getting those snipers out, I think, put under pressure, but he did a brilliant job. And overall, I think Team Dope today was very impressive. Even in the first game, they did very well. I think Dope in Peace was very impressive in that game on itself. leading from the front lines. But hey, I think very well executed from the side of Team Dope. Even before the match began, this is what we expected it to be, a close matchup. But I mean, Dope just a little bit, little too confident. More confident than MonarchX in their skills, and that was the big difference maker. But as I said, today might have been very easy, but tomorrow it's not going to be the same story. Tomorrow is when there's going to be a tough fight in their faces.
We hope tomorrow is going to be a tough fight, Johnny. We still never know, man. Maybe it's just one team, once again, just running away with the lead. Maybe Team Strike does what they exactly did in the previous game as well. Maybe it's NonStop doing what they did to Karizzma, even to the upcoming lineup. So you never know what's going to be in stake. For Team Dope, one thing is for sure, this lineup is looking really stacked. And I would like to see them move on to the finals as well and see how they perform on the bigger stage. Because when you're going to have eyes watching you in front of you on the LAN itself, it's something that creates a different amount of pressure. And let's just see and let's just hope that these guys are going to be able to prepare themselves for that.
Yeah, but there's a long way and a long time before they end up making it to the finals, right?
Yeah.
Right now, we're still in the open finals. Then you have the entirety of the challenge season to go through. And then eventually you make it to the LAN finale in DreamHack. But before that, I think tomorrow it is going to be a tough challenge. I think NonStop is definitely looking quite strong. So they are that one team that I feel might have an easier time. But everyone else, I don't know what to expect, because let's have a look at the bracket as well. And I think once we see the names over there, it's gonna. I think you are gonna be on the same page with me. Especially SLN, I think, is in for a very interesting surprise. They get to face off against 5 AM. And even for the side of NS has the toughest matchup. They have to go up against Time to Pound. And Dope going up against Galaxia also is going to be very fun to watch.
So tomorrow's day as well is pretty much going to be filled with a lot of upsets. And today's day as well was pretty much filled with so many upsets. We saw Karizzma take an exit from the tournament. Even Team Vengeance, considering they did not have all the 5 players available. Even they've been kicked outside of the tournament. Team Strike kicked Team Fate. And then in the end, we had MonarchX as well being eliminated from this tournament. In general, we did see a few upsets, but also a few diamonds being forced.
Yeah, I mean, few diamonds being forced, but let's see. I mean, it is the lower bracket round 1 done and dusted. Now tomorrow, again, it's a fight to stay alive in this tournament. Whoever wins, they qualify for the challenge season. Whoever loses, well, bye-bye. That was it for them and their journey in the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Exactly, Johnny. Today's day was definitely filled with a lot of those unfortunate moments, considering off the rip, it was NonStop just dominating through. And generally speaking, we expected things to go much more closer, right? In lower brackets, you expect teams to try hard as much as possible. But today's day, that was not the case. Instead, things were much more one-sided. Every single matchup that we witnessed was pretty much one-sided. But hey, before you take an exit from this entire stream as well, make sure to follow us on our socials. ESL India, be it Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook you guys use. Make sure to follow us on those social media platforms.
Yeah, it's X now, by the way. We don't call it Twitter anymore, Necro. Name change.
Well, you know, the OGs are always going to call it Twitter no matter what. But yeah, it is X, whatever you guys would like to call it. Twitter, X, whatever it is. If you guys would want to follow on that social media platform, it's ESL_India.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow that page.
Roster change. You got to keep up with the roster changes, man. But anyways, I think, there are a lot of updates that are going to happen, especially as you mentioned, and we keep talking about the challenge season. That's going to be a big one for sure, because if you are following us on our socials, is the only way you find out who the two invited teams are going to be. And I think everyone has an idea what those names are going to be like, but I'm just still going to say it, like, to build up suspense. We don't know right now.
Johnny, with that being said, even the day comes to an end, right? It was quite a quick day for the lower brackets, but tomorrow's day, we're expecting it to be a little bit more intense. Of course, tomorrow as well, we are going to see a few upsets, but also a few great moments, considering these teams will now move on towards the Challenge Series itself. Tomorrow will be the last day for the Open Finals, so we'll see you guys tomorrow itself.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
You waited all night for me to come back. Why'd you think that it's not alright? Told you that I'm not that type. Didn't mean to get you so excited. Tried to tell you not to fall in love. Why you always hit me uninvited? Just hoping you would get the picture. I've had enough. Now it's time for me to turn you mine. this was us. Ooh. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have fell for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back your heart. Call it a savage love, just till I had enough of us. I'm good, babe. I'm on my own. This ain't a phase. Just let me go. Told you that I'm not that type. Don't bother wasting breath. Begging for one more chance. Yeah, know you got carried away. Ooh, you made me to say you've been messing with greatness. Faces, stay in your place. I was looking to play, then you got in the way. All the love that we made got me stuck in the brain. Got no time to stay here and say goodbye. Yeah, I am superstar. You were never the one for me. Never should have fell for me. Take back your heart. Why don't you take it back? You never had a chance. I'm gonna take back your heart. Call it a savage love, just till I had enough of us.